Hello, everybody. For the second straight day, massive technical issues with the Restream software. Awesome. But you know what? I was put on this earth to cover the news. Forget it. I'm doing it anyway. We're going to do it live. Forget it. We're going to do it live. Hold on. I'm hearing RFK Jr. has been confirmed as the Secretary of Health and Human Services. That's breaking news. See, that's what happens. I could plan a show all I want. Yesterday, I had 3 hours of technical issues. Won't bore you with the details there. Suffice it to say. That being said, an hour of tech issues today. Won't bore you with the details there. But I'm back, and we're going to discuss what is going on in the news. But what I'm saying is that in the time it took me to launch the show, it looks like news stories have broken, and we're gonna talk about them. So thanks for finding us. It is Thursday, February 13th. Oh my gosh, so much time has passed so quickly. So we're already halfway through February. You blink and your life just moves like that, people. You got to do the things that you want to do when you can. That's the moral of the story here. If you need to do something, then go do it. Last week, I did stand-up comedy. I did it again this week. I'm going to do it again next week. I've always wanted to, trying to learn the best ways to do it. I try to be funny when I can. I like being funny. Being funny sort of comes naturally. I guess it doesn't to everybody. But I've always wanted to do that. Always wanted to. And so now I am. I've always wanted to cover the news, and I'm going to find a way. Find a way, Maynard lyric. How does it say? No, creaking through the crevices and peeking through the blinds, you'll find a way. No, that's not it. Around and over Maynard lyric. Simultaneous. Find a way through, around, or over. There it is. From Simultaneous by Pussifer. Find a way. Find a way through, around, or over. I'm going to find a way through, around, or over. Thank you for joining us today. Woo! This is the TNAM AM show. Wow, I did actually get to do the show before noon today. I believe I'm doing a Strictly Football today at 5 p.m. Eastern with Mike Barra and Jim Mitchell. I believe it'll be our final regular season and postseason show. Then we'll be back kind of covering NFL draft and free agency, I believe. So stay tuned. I think we'll go live later today. Hit subscribe, hit like, however you're finding us right now. We were kicked off. We were banned. Our account was disabled from Instagram yesterday, 2 days ago. No reason why. They don't give reasons. But we have been sort of running our show through Instagram. And we're going to do it again today. Breaking down the stuff in the news. Let's talk about all the stories. I guess let's maybe start with what just happened. Let me hit refresh here. This is a news story. Border chases, penalize. Where's the Zelensky? Hesitates on minerals deal. I don't give a shit, Zelensky. Okay, I'm not seeing the RFK Junior confirmation story. Why is it not trending? Hank has reported it. Alex Jones has reported it. Yeah, actually, I do trust Alex Jones reporting on this. Here, let's go to this tab instead. Yeah, Alex got dragged for the Sandy Hook thing, but you know what? Go through the top 1,000 stories that they've covered. Let's hear the laundry list of where they're wrong. I scrolled and I saw some guy named Hank. I'm like, I don't know who Hank is, but I did see Alex. And okay, now it's being reported Chris Martinson, Angry Granny, Hotspot. Where are like actual news channels reporting RFK? I do want to get to this because I did not have this in my. Yeah, Hank is the first one reporting this. Okay, I'll show you this one. There you go. Donald Trump Jr. is reporting. Let's go, Maha. Promises made, promises kept. Hey, libertarians, I got a message. I got a message to you, libertarians. All right. I went to your convention this year. I filmed both President Trump and Bobby Kennedy Jr. speaking in front of the libertarians. I filmed Clint Russell, Dave Smith. I filmed Bobby Kennedy Jr. Oh, the libertarians. Oh, we can't vote for Trump. No, he's not. No, he's not perfect. No, we only can vote for libertarians. They must be libertarians. We have to vote for libertarians. Libertarians only. What's my hair doing? You know what? President Trump reached across the aisle and said, hey, libertarians, I'm here. I'm asking for your vote. There are several things that you are going to be very happy with if you vote for me. You're not going to get everything you want, but you're going to get almost nothing you want if you let these Democrats steal another election. And still, so many of my libertarian friends couldn't bring themselves to vote for Donald Trump. Donald Trump has now delivered and brought you Bobby Kennedy Jr. to make America healthy again. Can you ever learn to accept some victories, libertarians? I know you have a purity test that is unmatched. It is impossible to live up to those standards. It really is. It's impossible. Nobody can be perfect. Nobody can be as perfect as the sanctimonious libertarian who knows everything. I tried convincing libertarians, they are almost impossible to convince. And it does bother me. It really does. Where's the pragmatism? Where is the, well, let's list 100 things that we want. Free Ross Ulbricht. Okay. That wouldn't have happened under Biden. Obama's third term. Kamala Harris. Obama's fourth term. That wasn't going to happen there. President Trump came out and said, hey, if you elect me, I'll do this. And he did it. Yeah, but he didn't do it day one. Oh, the libertarians are so insufferable. Sometimes I think they're idealistic, and I think that they're idealistic, and that can be a good thing. Continuing to drag your party toward perfection. I don't know. I don't know if I there's other times it's just they act as childish as the Democrats, honestly. That's how I feel about it. You know, he didn't do it day one. Yeah, he did it day two. Trump, you see the people, Trump didn't bring down the price of eggs. Yeah, because Obama, third term of Obama, with Biden as a sock puppet. Yeah, they killed 100 million chickens because a farmer who wasn't related to that got sick. Idiots. It was interesting. They only go after the cows and the chickens, the things that we eat, like the superfoods that we eat. That's who they, whoever they are, always go after. Interesting. It's almost as if they don't want this many humans on the planet. They, whoever they are. President Trump delivered you Bobby Kennedy. President Trump delivered you Tulsi Gabbard. Delivered. Signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours. Ah. Who sings that song? Question of the day. Signed, sealed, delivered. Type it in the comments. Hit like, hit subscribe. Bobby Kennedy Jr. has been delivered. Bobby Kennedy Jr. is going to be a part of the administration that finally, as Anna Paulina Luna yesterday told us, or 2 days ago, is going to be a part of the administration that's going to unravel what happened to his uncle and his father. They killed this dude's whole freaking family. They, whoever they are. there's going to be transparency now. They're going to get into these files, and Bobby Kennedy is going to be a part of finding out and identifying the people responsible for murdering multiple members of his family. The courage it takes to jump in and go, I'm doing it. I'm jumping in too. The only thing it takes for evil to succeed in this world is for the good men and women to stand by and do nothing. Bobby Kennedy Jr. has been delivered. Now, who are we waiting on? Tulsi has been approved. Who are we waiting on? We got Kash. Oh, Kash. Cash money. But these people voting against the confirmation picks. Here, let's watch this. Remember this moment? Remember the moment everything changed? We were coming back from which convention were we when this happened? Republican? Democrat? Maybe it was a Democrat convention. Look at this. A Kennedy meeting a Trump. The fireworks, the moment. This was maybe the moment that Trump won the election. Although, come on, take the fraud away. I bet the Democrats barely scratched 25% of actual support. I don't believe it. No, we're not even close to a 51-49 nation. I don't believe it then. I haven't believed it my whole life. I don't believe it now. But look at this moment. Remember this? There goes my hero. Watch him as he goes. Bobby Kennedy, Donald Trump, he said, we're gonna work to make America healthy. He did it. He delivered him. He's been confirmed. We have a Kennedy in the White House, and I'm actually kind of happy about it. I did not have that on my bingo card. There he is, Secretary of Health and Human Services. My God, we're about to get some real. Look at Bobby. God, he's ready to go. Oh, the people who have been lying to us and keeping us sick, they are in trouble right now. And they're saying that the only Republican to oppose RFK Jr. and vote no is Mitch McConnell. How soon can we recall and remove Mitch McConnell? Here, let's see what they had to say over here about it.
There it is, 50. Boom. RFK Jr. officially will be confirmed as the Secretary of Health and Human Services. Even if it becomes 50-50, J.D. Vance would be the tie-breaking vote, deal. Which means we're at 51. So there it is, folks. RFK Jr. of California is now the Secretary of Health and Human Services.
Shout out to Anomaly. He was the first person as I scrolled through. I saw him posting that Bobby Kennedy has been confirmed. Shout out to Anomaly.
We're coming for you, Big Pharma.
It is officially Make America Healthy Again.
Oh, I have been praying every day since my mother and brother have been taken away that we can hold Fauci accountable for what he unleashed on the world. Bobby Kennedy in that position literally wrote the book on that demon Fauci. Demon. I have not felt this good. I don't know how long it's been since I've felt this good. The thought that there might actually be some justice on the way. The thought that there might actually be some sort of repercussions for demonic activity. These 3 weeks have been astonishing, and we are just getting warmed up. I would crawl through broken glass to see that Fauci is held accountable. Big Pharma held accountable. They intentionally withheld therapeutic options as treatments because then they would have lost their blanket liability protection. Monoclonal antibodies were denied to my brother. Hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, like pulling teeth to try to get it. And as soon as he went to the hospital, they stopped the treatment. They wouldn't continue giving it to him. They had a one-size-fits-all approach. Here's something that the nurses affectionately call run death is near. The nurses called it remdesivir. Nope, you get this, but you don't get that. Can't get the Merrick protocol. All right, well, at least put him on a vitamin C drip. We don't have those. You don't have a vitamin C drip. All right, get him on ivermectin. Nope, we're not allowed to give him ivermectin. Why not? Because there's a protocol, there's a policy. NIH, DHS, pick your alphabet agencies that were in charge of telling doctors what they were and were not allowed to prescribe. And the monoclonal antibodies that were highly effective at treating that strain at that time when my brother got sick, couldn't find it. The doctors didn't know how to distribute it because Biden, in the Obama third term, at the direction of Fauci and all these big pharma assholes, they made it toxic. They made it so that you couldn't find it. They tried to ban it. They did ban it because monoclonal antibodies were proven to be very effective in Florida. And if there's a therapeutic option, then you don't have your emergency liability protection. These policies killed my brother. The bioweapon intentionally released from Wuhan after Fauci's gain of function was being funded killed my brother. The doctors who were too scared to prescribe what they felt could have helped killed my brother. All of these things killed my brother. All of them working together. A perfect storm of a perfect storm. And now, Director of National Intelligence. I know that there's an overlap of DNI into the censorship campaigns of the third Obama term with Biden as his puppet. I hope Biden, sure, he's accountable, but this is Obama. This is Obama. Always has been. But it's really Obama? Always has been. Remember that meme with the astronauts? Oh, now we can finally go after. We need Kash Patel in so we can go after Obama now. There has to be a reckoning for the demonic actions these people have taken because the real world repercussions have been brutal. Brutal. Just brutal. All right, Bobby Kennedy's in. All full steam ahead on Kash Patel, but what is going on with Mitch McConnell? How quickly can we recall him? How quickly can we? What is the process to remove Mitch McConnell? That guy can't tie his shoes. He doesn't even know what he's doing. Why is he opposing all the common sense stuff? Why?
And we could not be happier. Oh my goodness.
Oh, okay. That was just a little teaser. Working with you. Yeah, I could have done that without the music. Yeah, here's Bobby Kennedy keeping himself in great shape. He's worked to make our food healthier and raised concerns about certain vaccines. Now he's in charge of HHS. I mean, compare the people. Compare the Democrats to the Republicans at this point. Chuck Schumer, what's he saying?
Republican side.
There we go.
My colleagues on the Republican side, you know the consequences of what you're doing.
Yeah, that's why we're putting Bobby in. Oh, this is great. This is so great. You can almost never get tired of seeing this. I got to mute it because they're playing Foo Fighters. There goes my hero. You know, he's the right man for this position right now. The right man for this position right now. Bravo. We'll be unpacking this in the days to come. CNN is also reporting that Zelensky did not sign the financial agreement on rare earth minerals that the U.S. Treasury Secretary Vance has offered him. That's a bad idea. I think things are about to get really bad for Zelensky. What, you think you were just going to steal billions, hundreds of billions of U.S. dollars without having to pay for it? Come on, every time you make a deal with the mob, there's strings attached. Yeah, I don't suspect. I'm not encouraging anything about Zelensky, but I will say this. I would not consider him to be safe. I think he will probably be targeted very soon. He knows too much. His usefulness is just about done. Zelensky made a deal with the devil. Eric Daughtry reporting that Kamala Harris is leading the Democrat candidate for Republican governor in 2026. Is this a joke? Why not elect? Let's see, at Larry Elder. Well, but I guess it's for Democrat candidate. Literally anybody else. There, how about that? All right, so these are some stories that are coming through. Let me get back to, I don't want to ever look at her again. Yeah, let's send her to retirement. All right. Let's talk about the other things. The federal judge ruling the Trump so federal judges have now jumped in trying to claim that they're more powerful than the president. They're not. Let them have their temper tantrum, smack them down. Let's get to work. So here's some breaking news about these judges that have overstepped their boundaries. Whoa, where's the volume? There you go.
Can limit access to federal funds on the basis of the applicable authorizing statutes, regulations, and terms. Essentially, yes, the government can do so in complying with regulations, and then that the previous order does not bar both the president and much of the federal government from exercising their own lawful authorities to withhold funding without the prior approval of the district court, meaning, again, they can disperse the monies that they were allocated within the law, within the confines of the law, and that the government does not have to seek preclearance from the courts on terminating funding as long as they have the authority to do it as governed by the applicable statutory, regulatory, or grant terms. So essentially, the court is confirming what the Trump administration has maintained and what common sense can project, which is that within the confines of regulatory and normal authority, of course, you can do what you want with your own money, and you don't need a court's approval to do so. Yep, that's clarifying that the government can limit access to federal funds on the basis of the applicable authorizing statutes, regulations, and terms. Essentially,
there you go. Some of these comments. Any judge who rules against the Constitution needs to be removed. Any far-left activist judges need to be stripped of their power. Now impeach the judge. Yeah, CNN's about to cry harder. Trump's well aware of the law, and he knows his constitutional rights, but as president of the United States, he has a whole team of top-notch attorneys that know the Constitution. Woohoo, go DOGE. By the way, yeah, they have legal counsel. I guess that's what they had to do. Was it Bukele? Was it Bukele? Or was it Millet? But they had to impeach the corrupt judges. You got to do it here too. You got to get rid of these corrupt judges. Full speed ahead. By the way, I did see a thought recently that said about the funding for non-governmental organizations. If cutting government funding shuts down an NGO, it was never an NGO. Bingo. If cutting government funding shuts down an NGO, then it was never an NGO. You can't, Obama, outsource torture programs or Bush rendition in Northern Africa. Oh, yeah, we don't torture people. We just pay the people that torture people in Northern Africa. Well, you're doing it then. No, I didn't do it. Like Oprah talking about Kamala Harris and the kickbacks from the DNC. Remember the DNC that lost more money than it took in? Somehow, because that's what Democrats always do, because you should never trust them around a bank book or on a checkbook. Says, no, I was never paid $2 million. No, I wasn't paid that directly. No. Yeah, Harpo Productions was paid $2 million. That's your company, Oprah. You and your word games. Just slimy shit. Here is Pam Bondi talking about the people who have gotten into the immigrations and custom enforcement stuff. There were leaks trying to warn people about, oh, there's a raid coming. Well, guess what? Guess what else is coming?
Great men and women in law enforcement standing behind me today. They must be protected. And anytime anyone leaks or tips off anything regarding a pending investigation, that jeopardizes lives. You're telling a bad guy what's about to happen. It could jeopardize the lives of all the men and women in law enforcement. We will not stand for it. We will find you. We're going to investigate it, no matter what agency it came from. We don't know for certain. We have an open investigation, so I can't talk about it in detail, but we will do everything in our power to hold you accountable, and it is a crime, and you will be prosecuted when we find you.
Let's go. Enough of the nonsense. Speaking of nonsense, here's Pocahontas and Katie Britt responding to it.
We are at an unprecedented moment. Our financial systems are facing huge risks.
Oh, are they? 12 of the last 16 years you've been in charge. What have you done about it? Yeah, you've created it.
From the economic chaos of President Trump and...
No, that's wrong. Obama's been running the country for 12 of the last 16 years. Let's say the last 16, because you definitely got involved and you blocked all the common sense stuff Trump was trying to do in his first term. Last 16 years, Obama's been driving us off a cliff. We're grabbing the steering wheel now.
His co-president, Elon Musk.
No. Obama's co-president has been idiots like you riding shotgun. Totally happy to sell our country out as long as you can personally enrich yourself.
President Trump ran on this. I mean, he said we're going to look for wasteful spending across our government. We're $36 trillion in debt, y'all. That's not only fiscally irresponsible, it is actually morally irresponsible. And the difference in this administration and the last administration is that President Trump is actually the final arbiter. And it's interesting that none of you had anything to say over the last 4 years when it is clear that our commander-in-chief was not in command. And if we're going to use the term co-president, then let's go back and say co-president Jake Sullivan, co-president Ron Klain, co-president Jill Biden. I mean, it seems that some of the biggest decisions were made during the president's afternoon nap time. And so I just think we need to be a little bit more honest about what's been laid out and what's actually occurring.
We are at an...
Yes. We have to be honest about what's happening. Co-president. Biden has not been running this country, and we all know it. And these attacks on Elon are so stupid. So stupid. Stop being so stupid, would you? Please. It's all right. There's no negotiating. There's no talking to these people. It's just steamroll. Steamroll time. I got no energy in me. No energy in me to mess around and try to work with these people that have been nothing but obstructionists and traitors for the last 30 years. Nope. You lost the chance. There's no handshaking. There is no bipartisan. Nope. The American people hate you, Democrats. We know that you're pirates who've been looting our country dry. You've been maggots feasting on the rotting carcass, trying to strip us of everything valuable. RFK Jr. in the USA. Kenneth, what's up? Good to have you. Here's President Trump talking about Elon. And just like Trump, he didn't need this. Trump's like, I didn't need this. Nobody needs this. You think it's fun going through this nonstop assault of craziness from the left? No. Nobody wants that. Nobody needs that. But it is time to dismantle and destroy it. That's for damn sure. Here's Trump with Elon yesterday.
Considering exemption, talk about widespread fraud and abuse.
Oh, yeah. Tremendous fraud. There's tremendous fraud. And it's hard to believe that you can have that kind of fraud. You're talking about are you talking about what? Wait. Which are you talking? You're talking about with regard to all of the investigations that are going on about this stupidity. What we're going to do is tomorrow I'm having a news conference. I'm going to read to you some of the names that hundreds of millions and even billions of dollars have been given to. And if you tell me that we should be giving money to those things, those entities, I think you'll probably have to leave as a reporter because you're not very talented. When you look at the kind of money, billions and billions of dollars being thrown away illegally, and there's no chance. I mean, I say it in front of our Attorney General, there's no chance that there's not kickbacks or something going on. When you give millions and millions.
Oh, yeah. That's why they're big mad, because we found them out. All you ever had to do was follow the money, except they were all in on it. Just like Jesse Ventura would always say in wrestling. He's like, I used to do a Jesse Ventura impression. I'd have to watch him again. Oh, I really want to do my Jesse Ventura, but I might need a refresher before I do it. Same with RFK. I need to figure out how I'm going to do my RFK impersonation. So sometimes it's more like Helen Keller, but there's other ways I can do it better. But Jesse Ventura would say it's like wrestling. You know, we're out there. One guy's a good guy. One guy's the bad guy. One guy's wearing red trunks. One guy's wearing blue trunks. There you go. And you get us fighting and cheering and booing. And after the match is over, you go backstage, you take a shower, and guess what? You're both eating a steak dinner and having a martini. Like you're on the same team. And that's how it's been with Republicans and Democrats for too long. Now, Trump, the reason why they tried to kill Trump multiple occasions, 2 that you're aware of, way more than 2, is because he's not a part of their corrupt little team. He's working for the people. And so what do? They try to frame him for this, frame him for that, impeach him for this, impeach him for that. They hate him. Republicans, Mitch McConnell, Liz Cheney, Mitt Romney, John McCain, like these bums, Adam Kinzinger, screw them. Trump staged a coup. He staged a proper takeover of the Republican Party. The Democrats staged illegal coups to put up their puppets. People wanted Bernie, so of course they rigged it so Hillary could get it. People wanted anyone but Kamala Harris. Almost anyone other than Joe Biden. So what did the Democrats do? They teamed him up. Here's Harris and Biden. Everyone else fall in line or we'll destroy you like we tried to with Eric Adams. They're mob bosses. They're trash. They're demons. They're trash. And so Trump, he's not a part of their system. He's actually working for us. I believe he's working for free as well. I don't think he's taking a salary. By the way, he has one of the most accomplished people on planet Earth working for free, Elon Musk. How genius is that? Talk about the art of the deal. Mike Moran joining us again over in Facebook. Good to have you. He says, but Elon wasn't elected. The founder of PayPal shouldn't have the access he already had to our personal information. Yeah, exactly.
Of dollars to somebody that stands to look at something for 15 minutes and walks away with millions of dollars. That money's coming back in some form. And that's only one form of corruption. The biggest thing is what they do to our country. They're taking massive amounts of money and spending it on items. I went through a list of 200 expenditures that were made, and I found 3 that looked like they were reasonable. Okay, 3. And we'll be talking about that tomorrow. We have a lot of stuff. And I want to commend Elon because he's done a fantastic. He doesn't need this. You know, he's abused by you people every day. He's found more things than anybody could find. I think he's got the credibility to do it. I know he does.
Yeah.
And it's his group of people. You know, they started off with 12. I call them 12 geniuses. They started off with 12 and they went to 20 and 25, and now they're up to almost 100. People are joining to help them because there's a massive fraud that's taken place.
It is a massive fraud that's taken place, and the exposure of it is going to save our country. Mike Moran, here you go. Hey, Mike, by the way, do you have a Rumble account? I'd love for you to watch us on Rumble. We're trying to grow the Rumble channel, and we're monetized on Rumble, by the way. But talking about what Mike was just saying, this is a girl here. This is shared from Trump Latino's 24 account. She's basically saying what Mike Moran was saying. But Elon wasn't elected. The complaints and shrieks from the totally busted Democrats. Well, this lady kind of sums it up here. This is what the Democrats sound like.
What about the groceries? Have they come down yet?
I don't give a fuck about grocery prices. We are exposing the corruption in this country in real time, and we're reducing government spending at the same time. Billions of dollars we are saving after we cut off funding dumb shit. And all you guys can talk about is grocery prices. Anybody with a brain knows you can't fix the economy in a day. We all know that. Donald Trump knows that. You know that. So stop acting dumb.
What about the groceries?
And you want to know about the groceries? How about it was, well, I don't have the story in front of me. 100 million birds were killed, chickens were killed to raise the price. I still can't find fucking eggs at the grocery store. I've gone 3 or 4 or 5 times now. Trader Joe's out of eggs. You do find eggs, and they're the shit eggs. They're the ones that you keep them in a pen, and they're just like this, and they just knock out eggs. They're not foraging in an open space. They're not getting actual nutrients. They're giving you crap eggs, lousy eggs. If there's something I don't mind paying a little bit more for, it's for a good egg, a pasture-raised organic egg. The difference in the taste and the nutrients, it's not a slight difference. It's a massive difference. Massive difference. So yeah, you want to know why the egg price is raised? It's because they decided they wanted to destroy our food supply. Something wrong is wrong with this audio. EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin just announced that his team has discovered a staggering $20 billion that the Biden regime has laundered to corrupt NGOs. A video circulated months ago about a Biden appointee boasting about tossing gold bars off of the Titanic. Remember that? Rushing billions of our taxpayer dollars out the door before the inauguration and knowingly wasting it. And now Lee Zeldin has located the gold bars. Shockingly, roughly $20 billion of your tax dollars were parked in an outside financial institution by the Biden, third Obama term, EPA. This scheme was the first of its kind in EPA history and was purposefully designed to obligate all of the money in a rush job with reduced oversight. Even further, this pot of $20 billion of theft, this is treason, has awarded just 8 entities that were then responsible for doling out your money to NGOs at the discretion with far less transparency. Just over $7 billion was sent to one entity called the Climate United Fund. He says the financial agent agreement with the bank needs to be instantly terminated, and the bank must immediately return all of the gold bars that were tossed off the Titanic. EPA needs to resume responsibility for all of these funds. We will review every penny that has gone out the door. I will be referring this matter to the Inspector General's office. These people thought they could get away with everything. That was the audacity of Barack Hussein Obama. The audacity to weaponize our own departments against us, we the people. Barack Hussein Obama has been at the center of some of the worst rot and corruption and theft, infiltration, invasion, treason that we have ever seen as a nation. I suppose not all treason is created equal. I suppose some people could get found guilty of treason and maybe have some of the minor penalties applied. But when you're talking treason, you're talking about actively subverting the will of the American people, stealing from the American people, not helping East Palestine, Ohio, the Los Angeles fire victims, the Maui fire victims, or the North Carolina flood victims from Hurricane Helene, and stealing the gold bars that you're tossing off the Titanic, opening our borders wide open. Remember during a time of COVID where you couldn't work for the federal government and had to leave the military? You couldn't be a nurse. You couldn't travel. You couldn't do anything without vaccine papers and proof. But they're going to let 30 million people, illegal alien invaders, infiltrate America to permanently change our voting base, erase our culture, buy more Democrats' votes, post up in Democrat cities so that you can have higher census numbers, so you can get more representation in Congress. Framing President Trump for treason, or for framing President Trump to take him out, taking him out through fortifying the 2020 election, the fake FISA warrants that Hillary and Obama pushed through so you could spy on your political opponent, weaponizing the justice system to go against mostly peaceful protesters, weaponizing the justice system to go after Catholics, pro-life people, normal people, constitutionalists, libertarians, conservatives. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Barack Hussein Obama has committed treason most foul. And there's a penalty that I close my eyes and envision. It could be pay-per-view. Oh, I'd pay $19.95 to watch that live. These people thought they were invincible, and they kept getting more brash, more brazen, and more criminal by the day. You want to know why we started the New American Media 14 years ago? Part of the reason was because everything was slipping away. We were an invaded nation. You want to know why we changed our logo to the upside down American flag? It's because we were conquered. We were conquered by anti-American agenda. We were conquered. And now President Trump's victory, Tulsi Gabbard's appointment, Bobby Kennedy Jr.'s appointment, incoming Kash Patel's appointment. Oh, buddy. This is the first time in my life that I've had hope. It's a dangerous spot to be at, knock on wood. Hope it continues. But this system has been so rigged for so long. Oh, actually, sorry, I forgot. There was one more. A little bit more I wanted to say about Lee Zeldin. This system has been so rigged for so long, I almost forgot what it was like to have real representation and common sense in charge. Oh, and I'm excited about it. Lee Zeldin, this quote continues, shockingly, roughly $20 billion of your tax dollars were parked at the outside financial institution. Okay, hold on. United Climate Fund. Sorry, reset. He says the financial agent agreement with the bank needs to be instantly terminated, and the bank must immediately return all the gold bars that were tossed off. EPA needs to resume responsibility for all these funds. They'll review every penny going out the door. The days of shoveling boatloads of cash to far-left activist groups in the name of environmental justice and climate equity are over. The American public deserves a more transparent and accountable government. Yeah, wondering why... Yeah, they still won't let me comment. Instagram is still a captured site. Mark Zuckerberg comes out, oh, we're going to get rid of the fact checkers. No, that's not. No, it's not done. You're still messing with us. I wish people would not take Mark Zuckerberg at his word ever. He's attacked me on the Meta platforms as much as Google, YouTube has, as much as Twitter has. They can all go to hell. I'll use it while it's here, but I don't believe him for a split second. Not even at all. Not a tiny bit. Kelly here, she goes, I don't care about the shape of the earth anymore, like at all. I'm still stuck, trapped here with people who think we evolved from fish and that dinosaurs existed, but giants and dragons didn't. I'm still trapped here with people who can't look up at the sky. I'm still trapped here with people who think you're retarded if you didn't vote harder. I'm still trapped here with people who can't think for themselves. This is all shared from I'm Not Having Fun Anymore. It's a good account. It's the 5.0 account because they keep taking it down. Sometimes I agree with some of the things. Sometimes I don't, but it's thought-provoking. It's interesting. And I'm going to read you a couple things from this. They do a meme drop. Classical Liberty shared this. Government has stolen 97% of your family wealth in the past 100 years through central banking inflation. And you still think capitalism is the problem? Yeah, who are these bankers? What is usury? Why in the hell are we allowing ourselves to be charged interest? Ever. If we need to pay a 1% minimal charge to handle basic overage, basic overhead, I can understand a little bit of that. 6% interest on a home loan, get out of here. 30% on a credit card, you better start backing up before we back you up. This tyranny from the bankers has gone on far too long. And I'm really excited that Elon is considering bringing Dr. Ron Paul, another person that I saw at the Libertarian Convention, speak. You can find these videos on Rumble and YouTube. The Donald Trump speech to the Libertarians, Clint Russell and Dave Smith and Vivek Ramaswamy talking to the Libertarians, RFK Jr. talking to the Libertarians, Ron Paul talking to the Libertarians. All those are videos on our Rumble and YouTube accounts for the New American Media. And Wokeness said the purchase power of $100 US since the creation of the illegal Federal Reserve private banking cartel. They're not federal. They should not be allowed to use that name. That's false advertising. That's a scam. There are a couple of bankers that connived and got something crammed through in 1913, and they've been lowering the quality of our life ever since. We used to be able to have a mother and a father raise a couple of kids and have a couple of cars and have a pretty nice house in a pretty good neighborhood on one person's salary. That was normal American life, and it's fallen to shit because of these bankers, because of the cabal, because of the deep state, because of two wings of the same dirty bird. Your $100 from 1913, it's $3 right now. How you feeling out there? You doing good? Is it super easy to get by? Are you rolling around in it? Shit. Yesterday, I had to drop $1,000 to sign up for a yearly subscription for Restream just to bring you this show. So if you're so inclined, we're on Patreon at The New American Media, Venmo at Brian Engelman, PayPal at Fuzz Installment, and Cash App, $ Brian Engelman. I'm fighting with everything that I have as often as I can to try to reverse course and fix this shit. It's not easier out there. It's tougher out there because they hate you. It's because they get rich off of you. It's because they have manipulated you, abused you, and controlled you for far too long. Mike Moran crushing it again. The creature from Jekyll Island is being dismantled, and it's the thrill of your lifetime. Oh, brother, we are just getting started. I'm seeing these posts from Ron Paul auditing the Fed. Yeah, audit the Fed like you're going to audit the Department of Education. Afuera, cut it, get rid of it. Why are we allowing a private bank to print our own fucking money and then charge it back to us? They will loan, through the grace of their good nature. Oh, we're so benevolent. We'll loan you your own money back, but you have to pay us interest on it. How about walk a plank, you thieves? How about no? You know where this is going? Oh, this is going to the place I've been dreaming of my entire life. Axiomatic enemy of the state says, so you're telling me that the folks who worshipped every lying word out of that rat-faced charlatan Anthony Fauci's mouth now have a problem with unelected people in positions of power in the government? Do I understand that correctly? Samurai Apocalypse says, you all like to bitch about your senators, but really, there is no contest with the two dipshits in Connecticut. Those MFers have zero shame. I'm not having fun anymore, says, this is all of Washington. Responding to Elon Musk, J.B. Pritzker goes, reminder, Elon Musk was not elected and does not represent the will of the American people. I'm not having fun anymore, says, this is all of Washington. It's not all of Washington. You can be for the people and enrich yourself. You can make your money and represent the American people. You can stay wealthy and earn a great, awesome living and represent the American people. How soon do we get term limits, by the way? Because I will go on record and say this. In the absence of congressional term limits, I'm fine with there being no presidential term limits. I would prefer 2 term limits for everybody. Congress should not be a lifetime appointment. Gerrymandering districts and rigging ballot collections so you can always win. Get out of here. The longer they stay, the more corrupt they get. It's just the nature of the business. It's almost like you have to protect people from themselves. By the time that you're on a first name basis with your slimeball lobbyists who don't give a shit, they'll take money from anywhere as long as they get to cash the check. When you get way too chummy, buddy with the people in Congress, with your lobbyists, your NGOs, the corruptocrats, yeah, then it's time to go. That's a good sign that it's time to go. J.B. Pritzker. What is this? Voluntarism in action. That's a tough thing to say. J.B. Pritzker has absolutely no room to talk when he and his family are instrumental in influencing politics through AIPAC. That's another story. Rach says, white men are so exhausting. Homath says, pretty sure it's easy to immigrate to Somalia. You should try that. By the way, what about Ilhan Omar, who married her brother? How soon can we charge her with treason? Deportation. Gitmo. How soon? Anarchist says, I know it's been said before, but apparently it needs to be said again. If the media is largely behind your movement, you're not a part of the resistance. Luigi says, such a crazy coincidence that children who grow up with tender mothers who care for them and masculine fathers who educate them end up financially competent, upstanding citizens. Also a crazy coincidence that that's what's the model prescribed in the Bible. Wild. Leonardo Joni says, it's crazy that being pro-white is controversial, but openly advocating for the murder of unborn children is compassionate. These narratives that have been pushed through the Obama doctrine of the past 16 years, it is really hard to understand the level of psychological abuse and brain damage this has caused people. Susceptible children have been warped to hate themselves. Like Leonardo says, like being pro-white. I don't know, you can be pro everything that you are unless you're a white person. Make that make sense. By the way, the most compassionate thing you can do is kill all the kids. Yes. Huh? Like, to just step back and try to look at it. It's great to be pro-Latina. It's great to be pro-black. It's great to be pro-Israel. It's great to be pro this, pro that. Pick any subset. Yep, you're pro that. That is the most, oh, bless your heart. Yes, you got to be pro. You can't be pro-white. It has been a very systematic approach to demonizing straight white Christian men in this country. It's the Obama doctrine. And it's been thoroughly rejected. It's weird. It's really weird. Like when you read these other perspectives, by the way, these are their perspectives. I'm not saying this exactly the way they're saying it, but I think there's a larger, greater point. The abuse from the education system through the media run by the Democrat Party has been to guilt and shame America for being Americans. There's a culture, there's a tradition, there's a history, there's a binding set of moral codes. Yes, America was founded as a Judeo-Christian nation. However you want to parse that out. But to demonize Obama, Biden going after Catholics. I'm not Catholic. I got plenty of... a lot of people say it's a cult. I'm not expert enough to agree or disagree on that point. It ain't my cup of tea, but going after pro-life Catholics, going after regular Catholics, going after pro-life people. Like, these are normal positions. Oh, yeah, there's a God, and I'll show up. I'll try to be a good person. Evil, go after him. Yeah, I don't think we should be killing human life. That's bad. I don't know. Like, we have a right in this country, protection, health, wealth, and liberty. You know, right to pursue your endeavors. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It was life, liberty, and property. They changed it, but life is the very first thing. You can disagree that an unborn child is a life, but you can understand a person saying that's life. The egg met the sperm. It created a new life. That's a spark of life. That's a human. You don't get to just kill it because it's inconvenient. You don't have to agree with that position to say, I understand their position. Oh, but the Obama doctrine, you got to go after them. Wait till you find out, like Lauren Boebert's been talking about all the aborted fetal cells that have been going through Big Pharma. And just wait till you see what's going on. It's not just about killing a kid. It's about having a human pieces farm. That's a topic for another day. That gets into some real Frankenstein stuff. But anyway, let me finish unpacking this. I'm not having fun anymore. This account is pseudo black-pilled. They think all of Washington is the same. I don't want to speak for them. But I follow them. I find it interesting. And as I might have put this on today's agenda to talk about one of these topics. And as I'm scrolling through, I'll toss them all out there. That doesn't mean I endorse all of them or agree with all of them. That's what agree to disagree is supposed to be. That's what America is supposed to be. You can listen to any opinion you want, and you don't get canceled. It's not like you get erased from Earth. You can't work and earn a living anymore. You get the scarlet letter. You can't have, you get the mark of the beast, or else you can't buy or sell goods and services. That's not America. That's trash. So the more open conversations. You know, look, even a couple ago here. What was this one? Where was the post that I read? Hang on. Wait, where was it? I thought I had... I'm trying to find the quote that I just read, and I was like, huh. Can't find it. Let's continue. Legalman says not one single... There we go. Not one single high-profile person who pushed the endless COVID lies and jab BS have suffered even the slightest repercussions for their behavior. Hell, they're still advertising and pushing boosters all the time. And these day late and dollar short state attorney general investigations, they're an insult to my intelligence. Where were any of them when it mattered? They were helping to push the BS. Now they want to play both sides. LOL. The only people dumb enough to fall for that crap are voters. You know, once again, I think voting does matter. This account doesn't really seem to think voting matters. Anyway, this was all started because I liked this post. Who's been ruining our lives through inflation, and how do we reverse course? Yeah. Here's the post that I love. This kid, this video was shared. This was Democrats pointing at USAID money. Can I have some? No. Can I have some? No. In the way that this kid yelps, it just reminds me of like an old Italian lady over dinner after making pasta and sauce. I don't know, something about the way this kid. Anyway, here's another updated version. Now it's not Democrats pointing at USAID. It's Diddy pointing at bottles of baby oil. No. Or like a Speedy Gonzalez. Like, it's maybe Speedy Gonzalez. It's just funny. Can I have some? No. It's just perpetually funny to me. The account that I shared it from shared it again, but now it's Diddy with baby oil instead of Democrats pointing at USAID. Can I have some money?
Talk about a lot.
Anyway, here's more talk about DOGE and how they're crushing it right now, dismantling the deep state in real time.
Going on, and Aaron, you are correct. There is a lot going on. Elon Musk's DOGE team, I should say, has successfully canceled, check this out, millions of dollars of government contracts that the administration said were a waste of taxpayer dollars. A senior administration official told Fox News Wednesday that DOGE has worked with various agencies to cancel several contracts in the Social Security Administration, the Department of Homeland Security and Labor, and several other areas. Taxpayer dollars will no longer be wasted on nonsense, told this official said. Canceling the spending includes a $36,000 contract for DEI-related workshops at Homeland Security. That sounds like fun. How about $1 million contract that was canceled that supports the Gender X initiative, whatever that is, and involves public-facing Social Security applications that allow for a non-binary field when it comes to your Social Security. That's very important. At the Department of Agriculture, a $1 million contract for a diversity communications campaign so they could communicate diversely, I guess, for agricultural professionals has been canceled. Also, contracts being canceled at the Forest Service, a branch of the USDA, including one for $375,000, a good chunk of change to any regular American on DEI, and onboarding services for another $30,000 for, get this, Central America Assessment Consultant. So you can get some money if you're a Central American consultant for DEI stuff. The Department of Agriculture also canceled a $230,000 contract for Brazil Forest and Gender Consultant Services. So the forest, I guess, has a gender now, because according to this, they had a contract with Brazil for the Forest and Gender Consultant.
These videos, these lists of things that DOGE is uncovering, this money laundering, this theft, this insanity. It's insanity. The Obama doctrine is insanity. It's pure insanity. It gets crazier by the day. In my stand-up act that Kenneth watched, by the way, that one, I don't know. I'd give myself a C-. I feel like I kind of tripped over my punchlines a little bit. I should actually rehearse them a little bit before I get up on stage. I'm working toward it. But I think I said that DOGE has uncovered $17 million spent to examine monkeys and gambling. Monkey gambling. Whatever the dollar amount was, monkey gambling. Gender consultants for forests. This stuff just gets stupider and stupider the more you read into it. And it's not going to stop because they've gotten away with it for so long. Nobody would be okay saying, you know, it is okay if you raise my taxes a little bit so that we, you know what? I know we don't have the money. Just put it on a national debt credit card. I think it's important that we study monkeys gambling and gender forest initiatives, and to put an X on your passport or whatever instead of just doing male, female. Pretty basic, pretty straightforward. It just goes on and on and on. There is so much winning happening now. It's hard to pick my favorite thing. I mean, DOGE is right there because every day it's like, holy crap, you found what? Forest Gender Consulting.
You can't make it up. Department of Labor, according to the official, will cancel a $4 million contract with DEI Consultation Services for its Jobs Corps program. And the EPA is also canceling another $100,000 2-year subscription to Gartner HR leaders to obtain research and advisory services. Blah, blah, blah. You guessed it. Diversity, equity, inclusion. And now they've added another word, accessibility. DOGE has posted.
Didn't add stupidity?
Yeah, that's the only word missing out of there. From what I understand, too, there is now a website where people can go online and check out everything that DOGE is doing, so you can see, you can follow it for yourself. Many Democrats, of course, we know, are railing against DOGE. There was a subcommittee hearing today. There are a couple clips we've got from that. We'll play that a little bit later. But that's all the news for right now.
God, I thought there was more transparency.
I know, it's crazy. We can see what they're doing.
It's so weird.
Talk about.
Yeah, some transparency, some radical transparency is exactly what we need. By the way, Pam Bondi now, Attorney General Pam Bondi is going after, thank God. Why we have tolerated sanctuary cities and sanctuary states is beyond comprehension. You want to be an American, walk through the front door. Show your paperwork, show your identification. Let us run a background check. If you're not a dirtbag, rapist, murderer, if you're not a complete scumbag, all right, you're asking to come in. All right, if there's a possibility to bring you in, if there's a need, then we can put you on the list and we can track and we can have a long process of, maybe not a long process, but I think there needs to be a real process of learning the American language. That's English. It's not press 2 to speak in this, press 3 for that. You're in the country, you speak English. There has to be unifying bonds, or else you just have enclaves of random weirdos that don't assimilate. You need assimilation. It's super important, regardless of where you come from. If you're speaking Ukrainian, if you're speaking Russian, or you're speaking, I don't know, what's another one? Spanish. If it doesn't matter, you need to speak the language. You need to read the road signs. Like there's one language in the country. It's English. You got to know it. You got to understand the Bill of Rights. You have to go through the process and say, yeah, I would like to be a U.S. citizen. I would like to learn about this and protect and defend the values of America, not come here with your commie Marxist shit and try to rob us blind. So Pam Bondi's finally going after these backward, illegal sanctuary cities, sanctuary states. So overdue, but thank you. Let's finally get on track.
New York has chosen to prioritize illegal aliens over American citizens. It stops today. We have filed charges against the state of New York. We have filed charges against Kathy Hochul. We have filed charges against Letitia James and Mark Schroeder, who is with DMV.
Attorney General Pam Bondi, really, arguing that the Trump administration really trying to back up what it's been doing thus far, backing up Elon Musk and saying that that the administration is merely going by the will of the people. A lot of millions of people voted for Donald Trump, and we've heard the administration over and over again trying to make that case that, in their words, what they view as activist judges trying to get in the way of what this administration is doing. The Attorney General is not shy at all about saying that this could go all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. And we expect that to play out not just in this case, Hallie, but in many of the other legal challenges and legal battles that we see playing out in Washington and across the country right now.
New York has chosen to prioritize
finally
illegal aliens.
No more prioritizing illegal aliens
citizens.
over American citizens.
It stops.
And it's stopping today. Yeah, can't wait to see Letitia James mugshot. Yeah, you messed around, you're going to find out.
I don't know.
Kristen Sokoloff saying, well, here's Bill O'Reilly. Let's just listen to Bill O'Reilly. This is shared from Kristen Sokoloff.
What Adams is giving Trump. I have to tell the audience up front. I don't know, and I don't use anonymous sources, but I have gotten call after call after call that said, and all of these people have agendas who are calling it. They all have agendas, all right? And they're saying that Adams knows where the bodies are buried with James and Bragg. Just throwing it out for your consumption. I'm not reporting it to be true, but it kind of makes sense, right?
Well, it's kind of weird that, like, you can say he has no power, but he's in charge of the city. And when they went after Pritzker in Illinois, they named Chicago and they went after mayor. Yeah, I'm just saying, you know, if you're going after the city of Chicago, you name the mayor.
No, Johnson and Adams have no power whatsoever. None. They do what they're told to do. The real power lies in the state legislature. Now, in both Illinois and New York, the state legislature gives the big middle finger to Homeland Security. Because blank you, maybe Anderson Cooper could articulate it a little more than I am by using some vernacular, but that's what's happening. And the Trump administration knows that these mayors, I mean, this is like the utility infielder on the New York Yankees who plays maybe 3 innings a week. These guys have no power. They do what they're told to do. The big power is Newsom in California. Newsom's next. Hey, Gavin, they're coming for you. Pritzker's going to get destroyed, and Trump will bring down, and I'm going to predict it here, he will bring down Letitia James and Alvin Bragg because they went on a crusade to destroy him. And President Trump is not a forgiving man. I don't know.
Nor should he be. Nor should he be. You know, the Democrats used lawfare and tried to pass it off as a justice system. That's not what it was. They used lawfare to pretend it was the justice system. It is not. It was the injustice system. Now President Trump is going to use the legal system to show and expose all of their lawfare and legitimate crimes. You protesteth too much. They protesteth too much. So yeah, this from Gateway Pundit. Of course, Pam Bondi charging New York Governor Kathy Hochul, Attorney General Letitia James, DMV Chief Mark Schrader over sanctuary policies. This is a new DOJ. We sued Illinois, and New York didn't listen. You should have listened. All right, Caroline Leavitt, press secretary. So happy we have Caroline Leavitt instead of Peppermint Patty and Corinne Jean-Pierre.
The real constitutional crisis is...
Because that's what the Democrats keep saying. Everything's a constitutional crisis. Constitutional crisis. Hey, Dems, shut up. Sit down. We don't like you. We voted you out. Go away. And on top of it, yeah, the adults are in charge again. Just sit down, shut up. Constitutional crisis. Yeah, we're stopping all of your money laundering. That's your crisis. It's not a constitutional crisis. We're not spending any money on any random bullshit anymore. We're $36 trillion in debt. I was just watching an episode of How I Met Your Mother and Lily with Marshall. They were trying to buy a house for the first time. And they ran the credit check to get approved, and they got like a 24% interest rate or something because Lily has a spending problem, and she didn't tell Marshall. And she has, 100 credit cards, and they didn't say an amount, but it's like a staggering amount of spending. That's America. America has been looted and plundered through all of this wasteful spending to the tune of $36 trillion. So every non-essential dollar is going away. They're freaking out because they got really used to it. That's why they say, don't feed the bears. Well, if you feed the bears, they're not going to hunt on their own. Well, there's no constitutional crisis. You have a crisis in the judicial branch, and it's time to impeach these activist judges. Overdue. How else are you going to get anything done if these judges are in the way? Impeach all of the bad ones. Do it now. I want everything moving 100 miles an hour from here on out.
taking place within our judicial branch, where district court judges in liberal districts across the country are abusing their power to unilaterally block President Trump's basic executive authority. We believe these judges are acting as judicial activists rather than honest arbiters of the law. And they have issued at least 12 injunctions against this administration in the past 14 days, often without citing any evidence or grounds for their lawsuits. This is part of a larger concerted effort by Democrat activists and nothing more than the continuation of the weaponization of justice against President Trump. The real
Agreed. Mike had a good thought here I just put up. Said Operation Mockingbird is alive and well with their latest hit. Check out Barack Hussein Obama's fourth. Well, no, it's not his fourth. It was his fourth term. Check out the Obama doctrine's latest hit, Constitutional Crisis. Constitutional crisis. Bunch of trained seals. Bunch of dorks. Treat them like dorks. Just treat them like dorks because they are dorks. We've been far too nice to the mentally ill in this country. That is such a weird phrase to say. I don't think I've ever said something like that out loud. I don't mean the legitimately mentally ill people. I mean the Democrats who are mentally ill and pushing mentally ill stuff on people. They're actually the purveyors of the mind-numbing intoxicants that cause mental illness among the people that watch their product and think that they're telling you truth. No more being nice to Democrats. Ever. That party needs to be destroyed. Shattered to 1,000 pieces and scattered to the wind. That Democrat Party is anti-American. We all know it. I know it. You know it. The American people know it. So here's salary versus net worth, Democrat edition. Nancy Pelosi. She makes $223,000 a year. Guess what? Net worth $202 million. Wait, 202 what? Yeah, 202 million. Chucky Schumer. Chucky 6 ways from Sunday Schumer. Deep state gargoyle, Chucky Schumer. I don't want to be mean here, but Emmanuel Macron and Chuck Schumer and Barack Obama, why have we been pushing all this transgender stuff on people? Are these unrelated topics? Maybe they're unrelated topics. We'll bring that up another day. Chuck Schumer makes $210,000 annual salary, net worth $75 million. Where'd all that money come from? You know, look, we can be careful. We don't need to say that just because someone has money, it's all fraud. I'm saying we need to look under every stone and get an answer, because it sure feels like all these money, stolen millions to fund monkey gambling and the aesthetics of feng shui mailboxes. Maybe these aren't real, and maybe it's being rerouted to the politicians that allow this stuff. It's called theft. It's called treason. Elizabeth Warren makes $285,000 a year. Net worth $67 million. Have you ever seen somebody have a glow down any more than Elizabeth Warren? Remember when you used to think that, you know, she was out there fighting for the working class and the common man? And now you've seen her railing against cutting wasteful spending in DOGE. And it's like, wow, you protesteth too much. You've revealed your true colors. Elizabeth Warren, give me a break. So anyway, I had to mute that because I didn't want the music, because they might ban it because of the music. Here is, what is this? This is this Mike Benz? There's a lot going on here. Mike Benz talking to Rogan about USAID. Yeah, USAID was coordinating the effort to destroy the new American media. Oh yeah, I want USAID demolished, and I want reparations. I want reparations. 14 years I've been doing this, and you've been stifling my growth, hiding my product, hiding my content, removing my ability to advertise for most of those 14 years. I want reparations. Oh yeah, I want reparations. USAID was working to silence me.
From this, what can technology companies do? So this is USAID telling Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Reddit, Twitch, eliminate the financial incentives. Nuke their ad revenue if we don't like what they say.
That was called the adpocalypse. They said, "Oh, PewDiePie did a sketch from that guy in 1930s Germany. Oh, he's so bad we can't even say his name." It's like, yeah, you can say people's names. They're people in history. But nope, they have this whole agenda where you can't even. Oh, he did a thing. He did a. Good morning, Nimbus. My cat just yelped at that. He's like, don't say his name. I'm like, I don't care about his name. I don't know. PewDiePie did a 5-second skit, and they removed advertising. They called it the adpocalypse. They wanted to only allow advertising on authoritative sources. And they wanted to dry up advertising on new media that was taking their eyeballs away from their lying legacy media, their propaganda. Oh, I hate these people so much. USAID, the Obama doctrine. Oh, I hate them so much. I wonder where I would be today, where the new American media would be today if our content wasn't being hidden. Do you know how few people see our videos? 6,500 subscribers, millions of views. How many people actually see our videos? They put us on the naughty list. You get a chunk of coal for Christmas. We'll wheel up bags of cash if you put anti-American garbage on your channel. Sure. Yeah, if you do divide and conquer deep state stuff. Oh yeah, we'll pull up the Brinks truck. We'll just load it up. Load you up with cash. But if you're fighting for the American people, we want to starve you of revenue in the hopes that we'll silence you. That's how awesome things have become.
What could national governments do? Again, this is our government funded by our tax dollars telling foreign governments that they should regulate ad networks to kill the ad revenue of U.S. social media websites and U.S. news entities, like has been caught up in the advertiser database at state and USAID under the Biden administration. And there's a million more examples like this. Just the first two entries from this. What can technology companies do? So this is...
But they were paying all the corrupt news organizations at the same time, people. Benjamin Ben Henry here. He says, just got fired from my extremely important government job, teaching Azov battalion members how to dilate after bottom surgery. 2 broccoli-haired 19-year-olds barged into my office, put a noose around my neck, poured prime energy drink over my head, and yelled, "This is Doge country." We responded by saying, satire is great. Yeah, out of all our followers on Instagram, 2 people see our stories. 2 people.
This
Meta, for all of the lies Mark Zuckerberg's told, he hasn't removed the algorithmic restrictions and chains in censorship they put on the new American media. We've been running this account for a long time. We got a lot of people that love our content. If they ever see it, they don't let people see it. Now, here's some good news from GLKCS. Google searches have boosted for what?
This is wild. Right now in Washington, D.C., the Google search for criminal defense attorney is 3 times higher than anywhere else in the United States. This might have something to do with the fact that the Department of Government Efficiency is uncovering a lot of waste and a lot of fraud in their audits. Could it be that there's some people in DC that are worried that DOGE is going to start doing individual audits next?
Yes. Why have we not always done individual audits?
I mean, when you look at a lot of these government...
I want to see Trump's tax returns. Show me Trump's tax returns. Show me Trump's tax returns. All right. You're up next.
Employees, and you see what their salary is versus their net worth.
Mitch McConnell makes $200,000 a year. He's worth $95 million. Really? Want to explain that and why you vote against common sense every time you get a chance? Mitch McConnell.
It does make you wonder. And Polymarket has now entered the chat. They said federal employee charge as a result of the DOGE investigation is up to a 49% chance. That's pretty high, and we know that they were the most accurate during the election. So who knows what's going to come of this, but it does look like it's a good day to be a criminal defense attorney. Business is about to be booming. As always, I want to hear what you think.
Yep. Oh, I'm so excited. Here's George Carlin. He's great. I saw this. Maybe not super related to some of these other topics of the day, but look, you're bringing Fort Bragg back. I want the Cleveland Indians baseball team back. And by the way, George Carlin has a little bit of insight into this.
I call them Indians because that's what they are. They're the Indian. There's nothing wrong with the word. First of all, it's important to know that Indian, that word probably does not derive from Columbus believing he had reached India in 1492. India was called Hindustan. In his written accounts, he called the Indians una gente in Dios, a people in God. Indios, Indians. It's a perfectly noble thing. And I simply can't justify this awkward phrase, Native Americans. First of all, they're not natives. They came here from Asia Asia over the Bering Land Bridge. In fact, there are no natives anywhere in the world. Everyone is from somewhere else. All people are refugees, immigrants, or aliens. If there are natives anywhere, it would have to be people still living in the Great Rift Valley in Africa. So everyone is just visiting. So much for native. As far as calling them Americans is concerned, well, we steal their hemisphere, destroy 500 cultures, kill 20 million, stick the rest of them on the worst land we can find, and then as a special bonus, we name them after ourselves.
And in the comments, they're like, no, Christopher Columbus clearly thought he was in India. That's why he called them Indians. All right. Well, yeah, maybe. Or in Indios, people in God. But if we can bring Fort Bragg back, I would like my Cleveland Indians baseball team back. The team that broke the Native American Indian player barrier with Louis Sock Alexis. So much so that the other sports writers started making fun of the Cleveland Spiders, saying, oh, looks like the Indians are in town. Look, the Cleveland Indians are in town. Like, all right, we'll take that. We'll adopt that. You know what that was? That was the Cleveland Indians adopting the name that they were being called in a derogatory way, much like how rap music and certain cultures have taken a bad word and said, you know what, we're going to use that word to discuss ourselves. Yeah, we're going to make that word just kind of sound like dude, but only we can say it. So if they can take a word and turn it into something as a term of endearment, why can't we get our baseball team back? George Carlin, everybody. Yeah, Liz Warren. Liz needs a warrant. Liz Warrant. Yeah, I like that. Oh, you're guilty, Alan? You said Pocahontas? Oh, no. You're canceled, sir. You were so canceled. I miss George Carlin. All right. Here's Pete Hegseth talking about Ukraine, NATO, and Russia. Are we going to be able to end this pointless, senseless, money laundering war of Biden, Victoria Nuland, and Barack Hussein Obama? Well, Pete Hegseth is kind of putting it out there. There are some terms that they're reaching. Here they are.
The United States does not believe that NATO membership for Ukraine is a realistic outcome of a negotiated settlement. Instead, an
outcome of Anthony Blinken's money laundering grift, says the commenter.
Security guarantee must be backed by capable European and non-European troops. If these troops are deployed as peacekeepers to Ukraine at any point, they should be deployed as part of a non-NATO mission, and they should not be covered under Article 5. There also must be robust international oversight of the line of contact. To be clear, as part of any security guarantee, there will not be U.S. troops deployed to Ukraine.
There you go. And by the way, you owe us those rare earth minerals. What, you thought you were just going to get all this free money so you could buy extra mansions and fancy cars and fancy vacations? So all the people around you could get filthy rich off of our dollars without having to pay for it? Oh, you're going to pay for it. Yeah, we just bought your country. And the fact that you're still trying to keep elections from happening, that sounds like stuff a dictator would do. You better be very careful, Zelensky. You better be very careful. I don't like you. Haven't liked you for a long time. I thought it was cool that a comedian was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to run my government. I didn't realize it was Victoria Nuland, Barack Hussein Obama, Joe Biden, New World Order plan to overthrow their democratically elected government to start this UN potentially nuclear World War III with Russia. Yeah, I think Zelensky's in big trouble. Mark it down. If it happens, I can say I'm not advocating anything bad. I'm just telling you what I'm reading the tea leaves to say. Elon Musk here saying, when there is not one, just one, even attempted prosecution of that Epstein client list, Bill Gates and Reid Hoffman come to mind. If there's not even an attempted prosecution of Bill Gates and Reid Hoffman, Jeffrey Epstein, that happens, either the FBI does their duty or the case for an entire departmental reset or abolishment is strong. Yeah. You're either the Department of Justice or the Department of Injustice. This is Sean Ryan Show talking with Mike Benz, Cyber.
I do not like, and I'm not a fan of the Cuban government. I don't believe in socialism. I don't believe in communism. But here is what was done.
Yeah, let's go back to 2014 when so much of the nonsense kind of began.
2014, a very massive scandal popped off that I think few people today remember. This was during the Biden White House, where USAID took humanitarian funds that were earmarked for Pakistan and used them, we are told, to unilaterally create.
By the way, they're told to unilaterally create what he's about to say. But all you got to do is take a look. When the United States has a natural disaster, does anyone send us humanitarian aid? No. It's all money laundering. Yeah, but we're buying influence. We're kind of like getting in there so we can kind of control the whole planet. You know, it's smart to control the whole planet. Dude, it's called blowback. We are way too overextended. Draw it all back. Draw it all back. This is madness. No one sends us aid when we need it. And we got 36 trillion on a credit card tab. Finally, the Tea Party's happening, and it took Donald Trump and Elon Musk to make it happen. I haven't heard the word Tea Party in a long time. They were yelling at Obama for a while, but look, this is the Tea Party. Taxed enough already. Pay down the debt and stop stealing our money. Anyway, they're saying that USAID took money earmarked for somewhere else, and they sent it to Cuba to create
a social media website in Cuba at a time when Cuba had banned U.S. social media. The Obama administration was riding high at this moment from the Arab Spring and the Facebook revolutions and the Twitter revolutions that USAID and NED played such a critical role in, funding money to these networks, training them, teaching them how to use Twitter hashtags, teaching them how to coordinate Facebook posts to tell people where to protest. $1.2 billion pumped in by the State Department in Egypt during that time. They wanted street protests, riots, what they called smart mobs in Cuba on the basis of U.S. social media that they could instrumentalize. Problem was they didn't have the asset in the region. They couldn't get their social media in. So what they did is they used a Byzantine labyrinth of money laundering from these humanitarian aids earmarked for Pakistan, again, back to Pakistan, and used that to go through a subcontractor called Creative Associates International, who's a frequent USAID contractor for this dirty work. They were involved in all sorts of other ones, but it's CAI, not CIA, who then basically contacted two Cuban businessmen to create a identical version of Twitter, except for Cubans. I do not like, and
it is getting hard to track all of this. It's a shell game. They're masters of the shell game. Matthew Iglesias says, it's kind of weird that deplatforming Trump just like completely worked with no visible downside whatsoever. This person just said, I want this framed hanging above my toilet. It did, though. It worked great. Oh, it worked great. You're getting the blowback that you deserve. Once again, awesome post. Only a couple people saw it. Shashi says, after 3 weeks of experience with this Trump presidency, I've come to regret how I supported Trump. Putting Musk in charge of DOGE, firing civil servants, letting 20-something tech bros have access to the Treasury and Social Security, shutting down USAID, banning trans women from women's sports, renaming the Gulf of Mexico, completely erasing DEI language from the government, rounding up illegal alien invaders, American troops on our own border, completely erasing... Oh, sorry, there we go. All of it has been shocking and overwhelming, truly, and I am ashamed. If I had known how all of this would play out, I would have tattooed MAGA on my forehead, wrapped myself in the American flag, and shouted my support for Trump from every rooftop. Anyone else? Anyone else? So here's a district judge in Boston ruling about Trump. You know, the judges, the corrupt judges are trying to get involved to stop the administration. It feels like nothing's going to stop what's coming.
U.S. District Judge O'Toole in Boston ruled that Donald Trump has the right to carry on with his buyout program of federal workers. There had been a temporary hold. This judge had placed a hold to consider the legal issues. He concluded that the labor unions who were trying to trip up the president and stop the president from carrying out this program did not have legal standing, and therefore the program may proceed. That is a big win for President Trump and a big loss for liberal labor unions who were trying to stop the president from shrinking the size of government. We have more of that on that over at justthenews.com. Go check that out. Amanda, back to you. We got a great guest coming up.
All right. Donald Trump has the right to carry on with his buyout program. Good. I mean, of course, right? Real Toria Brooke always does good meme dumps. You should follow her. Department of Defense has paid Reuters millions of dollars for large-scale social deception. Did you know that? USA spending.
The people, we
Mike Benz talking again. Mike Benz is really good at unpacking this. There's a lot of complexities to the shell game that they've been using.
have to, end poverty, and then they'll make the argument it's the government's fault that there's poverty. We have to end racial or gender inequality, and then the State Department or USAID will be working through its demographic segmentation with those exact groups. This is another reason we've been pumping up these feminist groups and these LGBT groups. If you want, for example, you can pull up the WikiLeaks CIA Red Cell memo that showed how the CIA pitched to the State Department in the during the Afghanistan war that the best way to shore up additional funds from European parliaments is to transition states' media octopus messaging from a national security predicate for the war to a feminism and a women's empowerment one, because of field work and polling from the Central Intelligence Agency around Europe showed that European parliaments and voting demographics said the people, we have to, end poverty, and then they'll make the argument it's the government's fault that there's poverty. We have to end racial or gender inequality, and then the State Department or USAID will be working through its demographic segmentation with those exact groups. This is another reason we've been pumping up these feminist groups and these LGBT groups. If you want, for example, you can pull up the WikiLeaks CIA Red Cell memo that showed how the CIA pitched to the State Department in the during the Afghanistan war that the best way to shore up additional funds from European parliaments is to transition states' media octopus messaging from a national security predicate for the war to a feminism and a women's empowerment one, because of field work and polling from the Central Intelligence Agency around Europe showed that European parliaments and voting demographics said the people, we have.
Anyway, it continues, but yeah, this is all by design. This is all by design, and it's all nonsense.
The people on surveys.
Oh, here's the second part. Thank you. I was like, he was in the middle of a thought, but
they were more willing to give money or wanted to give more money from their own government coffers, their own taxpayer funds, to the war in Afghanistan, if it was about stopping repression against women, or if it was about giving women more rights in the society and whatnot. And so that wasn't because the CIA loves feminism now. This was a cold, calculated instrument of statecraft to shift the messaging, and then also to work with these exact groups who have that cleavage point axe to grind against their country as part of the mobilizations. This is how you see a lot of these women's marches and women's protests, or you see a lot of these sort of protected class ones, because that also gets you the human rights, predicate to add sanctions and other protected speech measures. Like, this is why the State Department pushed Facebook to put hate speech provisions in place to stop hate speech against the Rohingya. On surveys that they were more willing to give money or wanted to.
Some of the comments, I'm going to need a refund. Yeah. Another one, I'm going to bet money that Drudge Report is compromised too. That is an excellent point. I remember I used to go to Drudge Report all the time. And when they turned anti-MAGA, we were like, whoa, hold on. Something's weird here. You got purchased. You sold your soul, pal. SPK says, no wonder why every mainstream, it's not mainstream media, it's lying legacy media source sounds the same. Sushi Florist, so the U.S. government has basically been Satan for the last 5 decades. Got it. Large-scale social deception. Is this another Mike Benz post, or is this the one I just had? It's tough to tell.
For example, when I draw, this is what's coming next, right? President Trump tasked Elon Musk with sicking the Doge dogs on the Pentagon. And, depending on how you measure it, the size of waste, fraud, and abuse of the Pentagon ranges from a couple $100 billion. They are the biggest, federal agency in all of this. They have $900 billion budget compared to only $44 billion at USAID, and even less at CIA. So the Yahoo Finance, published this a couple of years ago, a $35 trillion black hole. If you want to pull up that receipt on screen, just so I don't look like I'm saying this directly myself, but just type in 35 trillion Pentagon black hole. That's larger than the entire national debt. Just the amount of the black hole in the size of the accounting budget of the Pentagon over the years from its continual failing. This is on Yahoo Finance. This is what, 2020, I think. When America was born in 1789 in the first meeting of Congress, there were only 3 agencies that were created in the beginning of time, shall we say. The first act of Congress was to create the Department of State, the Department of Treasury, and the Department of War. And the Defense Department became the Department of War in the Department of War became the Department of Defense in 1948. What people, even now, they're seeing these USAID scandals with funding to the Democrats, or funding to some of these blob internationalist Republicans, or funding to these media institutions. You ain't seen nothing yet when you get to the Pentagon stuff, because USAID...
You haven't seen anything yet when you get to the Pentagon stuff.
Was created effectively in part to assist Pentagon activity under humanitarian front. For example, when I draw, this is what's coming next, right?
Okay.
President Trump tasked Elon Musk.
Yes, I think it reset. These. I wish Instagram would show me the ticker, so like when I know the segment's over and repeats, I can just stop it. But like the jump cuts are so smooth, it's hard to like. Wait, he just started talking about that. Some of the comments here. Clay Thompson says, "Remember when the Pentagon said they lost literally trillions of dollars due to an accounting error? Remember that? That's called theft." Patriot Son says, "Things are going to get apocalyptic when DOGE arrives at the Department of Defense, formerly Department of War. In the daily briefings detail the amount of waste, fraud, mismanagement, and malfeasance that are uncovered. All of the neocons and war hawks will hold daily press conferences screaming about the damage being done." Stop Socialist Tyranny says, "Trump and Elon Musk taking on the deep state and Pentagon corruption is a great step toward transparency and accountability." Yeah, it's about damn time. Here's a helpful reminder. Is this one post or several? To be clear, the experts weren't wrong. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't read it right. To be clear, the experts, they weren't wrong. They lied. There's a difference. And here's Newt Gingrich. He's calling it out, explaining it nice and succinctly.
2 different things going on here with the Democrats. The first is they are watching with terror as all the different sources of government money that has propped them up for the last 60 or 70 years, all of it is now being challenged by President Trump and by Elon Musk. I mean, this cuts at the very base of their coalition. And if they can't bribe people, if they can't act corruptly, if they can't take care of their friends, their entire coalition is going to collapse.
Yeah.
Second, you have a very large part of the Democratic Party for whom the beliefs you were describing, transgenderism, for example, are religious beliefs. This is a secular religion. They can't unlock because they believe these things. They believe in an open border. They believe that there really is no such thing as America.
These are non-starters. These are, and unfortunately, you have some libertarians that jump onto this as well. It's a non-starter. It's why I could never actually be a part of the Libertarian Party if that's a platform position that they continue to have. You're allowed to have different rules inside of your household. The United States border is our household. We have rules. And without borders, there is no nation. Without a nation, there is no identity. Without identity, you're at the whim of whatever power happens to gather as much power as possible. Individual national identity is crucial to maintaining freedom and liberty. But, these policy positions pushed by the Democrats and unfortunately the libertarians, misguided libertarians, they're antithetical to what the United States is. And it risks us losing the God-given rights that we have enshrined in the Bill of Rights.
They believe that it's really good to have millions of people flood into this country. It's really good to have people who don't have to work, that work requirements are inherently bad. All of these things are a semi-religious or religious belief system, and that's why they can't unlock. It's not rational. They can't sit down and do a common sense analysis. They're instead trapped into being for things that are profoundly unpopular with most Americans.
There's an untold story behind this money, too, because Congress has a duty called oversight. And there were senators and congresspeople that were asking USAID, for example, and other departments for an accounting of their money. They would get back nebulous, obscure, obtuse answers, which tells me that the Democrats knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
They knew the American people would not want their money spent this way, but they did it anyway.
They did it anyway, and they had to obscure it every possible way.
And then they basically lied to the American people and would not disclose the true nature of the spending that was actually going on.
Look, I mean, you have to accept that there was a lobbyist bureaucratic empire, that empire took your money, gave it to its friends, even if they were totally incompetent, and then you'll find case after case where your money went out to systems that just don't work. That's crazy. And at that time, they were taking care of themselves. What makes President Trump potentially the most consequential president since Abraham Lincoln is the fact that he's taking a sledgehammer and he is pounding the establishment in a way that no one has since Franklin Roosevelt created it in the 1930s. He's the first person, and I'm a great fan of Ronald Reagan. Reagan defeated the Soviet Empire, but he didn't try to take on the American establishment. Trump has had the guts to go straight at it, and I think the American people are going to be with him even more so when they learn how really sickeningly bad it is.
What do you make?
They're two different.
There you go. Yeah, the demon rats have completely betrayed the American citizens. Never again. Here's Riley Gaines just retelling a story, a different version of how. Remember how scared we were to speak up about COVID? Because if we did, we would get completely erased from social media. Remember how we used to be scared to speak up for for fear of losing our jobs? And I'm fairly convinced I went through a similar situation there as a lady ran me out of a place. Regardless, remember how scared everybody used to be? It's important to remember because we can't ever let that happen again. The Obama doctrine was to demonize all the normal people and make us scared to say, hey, that's not right. Rah, 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 rah. Without unleashing like an attack mob on us. Remember Riley Gaines? She's telling this story from a different perspective at a different moment that I didn't really ever hear this version of it.
Each university gets to nominate one female athlete for NCAA Woman of the Year, which is the most prestigious honor you could win as a collegiate female athlete. When I was nominated for this award, I was so honored. We had Abby Steiner, who's breaking world records in track and field. We had the #1 WNBA draft pick from University of Kentucky. We had a national championship rifle team, national championship volleyball team, but they chose me. So I was so honored by this until the NCAA released a full list of the nominees, and Leah Thomas was who University of Pennsylvania had chosen. I know. But anyways, he was nominated for this NCAA Woman of the Year, which immediately devalued the award to me entirely. I didn't even want the stupid thing now. Meaningless. But all that to say, they celebrated it. But one more point about this NCAA Woman of the Year thing, because at this banquet, or really it was this conference type thing, they also had a big convention hall where, you know, companies and organizations could buy a booth and pass out pamphlets or whatever they wanted to do with.
And I've done that before. I've gone to conventions. I've bought space. I've attended I don't even know how many conventions I've attended. Am I past 100? It's a lot of weekends, but I might be.
Their organization. So I figured, you know, what better way to get in front of these athletic directors than to buy a booth? I'm going to buy a booth. And so I applied to buy a booth with my name. Of course, Riley Gaines. I'd been outspoken at this point. Denied. So I'm like, that's weird. I'm trying to give you guys money. I know the NCAA doesn't turn away money. Applied again with my same name. Denied. Came up with an alias. applied, and they're like, of course we'll take your $2,000.
What?
But I get in there. Every single athletic director who walked by, again, of every university, thank you for doing what you're doing, keep going. Of course, whispering, winking at me from across the way. I was passing out little bracelets of Title IX and just sharing to anyone who would listen about what happened. And every single one said, keep going, thank you. And the first 60 or so, I was like, this is awesome. And then I began to naturally feel frustrated by this. What's the discrepancy? I was told the higher ups didn't agree, but that's not what I'm seeing. And so I began asking these athletic directors, okay, that's great, you agree. Would you be willing to put your name to it? Oh, no. Even the president of the NCAA
Terrified.
at the time was Mark Emmert,
Even the president of the NCAA.
who had released a public statement at this point, a few days prior to the meet or a few days after that national championships, where he said he unequivocally stood in his decision to allow Leah Thomas to swim with the women because it was based in evolving science, is what he says. But privately, I know.
Evolving?
You didn't know science evolved? Bigot. But privately, at this conference, I see him and he says, keep going, keep fighting. As if he's not the one that I'm fighting. Each university.
Yeah. As if he's not the one that you're actively fighting. Bunch of cowards. History will not be kind to cowards. Don't be a coward. Don't cower. And don't become a coward. I mean, it's crucial that we find our voice and speak while we still can. She is a hero. A heroine. All right, here's Tulsi Gabbard. Speaking of a hero and a heroine, congratulations to Tulsi Gabbard, who has been appointed and confirmed as the director of national intelligence, the same lady who was put on a terror watch list because she was mean to Kamala Harris and left the Democrat Party. Yeah, they did that. Oh, you don't think she has an axe to grind? Oh, she does. This is shared from Asher Press.
Mr. President, first and foremost, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for the trust that you have placed in me to fulfill this critical position as Director of National Intelligence at any time, but specifically during this time. Unfortunately, the American people have very little trust in the intelligence community, largely because they've seen the weaponization and politicization of an entity that is supposed to be purely focused on ensuring our national security. So I look forward to being able to help fulfill that mandate that the American people delivered to you very clearly in this election, to refocus our intelligence community by empowering the great patriots who have chosen to serve our country in this way, and focus on ensuring the safety, security, and freedom of the American people. As you've said, Mr. President, this is what I've dedicated my life to, and it is truly humbling to be in this position, to serve in your administration, help to rebuild that trust, and ultimately to keep the American people safe. Last thing I'll mention, that in your National Prayer Breakfast speech, you made a statement about your legacy of wanting to be remembered as a peacemaker. I know that I can speak for many of my fellow service members who are here today, veterans, Medal of Honor recipients, how deeply that resonates with us. For those who volunteer to put their lives on the line when duty calls, but to have a President and Commander-in-Chief who recognizes the cost of that sacrifice and ensuring that war is the last resort, not the first. So thank you for your leadership on behalf of my friends here and all who wear the uniform. We're grateful. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, man. My brother loved him some Tulsi Gabbard. He would be so happy to see. He had some reservations about President Trump, some critiques about President Trump. Some were fair. Some I thought were kind of, whatever. But he liked himself some Tulsi. And Tulsi joining Trump to steer Trump a little closer to Tulsi stuff. That's awesome. Trump has really surrounded himself with a better cast of characters instead of the deep state swamp creatures from the last term, for sure. Alan saying mainstream media needs to be changed to lying left stream media. They're no longer mainstream. Yes, I call them the lying legacy media. Lying legacy media. I don't use the word mainstream. We have got to reclaim our language. So many words have been bastardized. Birthing person? No, that's a mom. Mother. It's a woman. Like we have to reclaim our language. Yes, lying legacy media. Kenneth, Pentagon soon? Well, I mean, we're always going to need a Pentagon. We're always going to need a department there, but like, we can't have it weaponized against the American people. Alan saying that he's an old Tea Party member. Even before that, he voted for Ross Perot. Yeah, I think Ross Perot, I mean, I was too young to vote, but in our school, we held a fake vote, and I voted for Ross Perot. Now, can I finish? Now, what you see here is, can I finish? Can I finish? I loved me some Ross Perot. Yep, there you go. Kenneth, can I finish, Perot? Can I finish? Dana Carvey was so great in that role. Here's Patrick Bet David talking about IRS agents and DOGE. Let's kind of compare and remember which party is serving who and which one want you to be slaves forever with the enforcement mechanisms to terrorize you.
So why is it?
Especially to terrorize you if you don't toe the party line and you don't regurgitate all of the lies, all the speech crimes, the thought crimes, all of the mangled language. If you don't act as a good soldier for the deep state, Democrat, divisive, demonic party, you will be targeted and destroyed. That's why so many people are finding their voice right now. So many people are risking everything they have because we've already felt so targeted, and we've seen so many others. People we know, people we don't know, people we see on TV, other stories we overhear when we're in the company of others. There is no running and hiding from the totalitarian bullshit that the deep state Democrats were inflicting upon us. Yeah, you're damn right I'm going to talk out now, because there might be a day I won't have the internet. And I'm going to use my voice as long as I have it. And if I have to meet my maker at the end of this experience, I want to at least be able to look my maker in the eye and say, I tried. Whether I was successful or not, impactful or not, I want to say that I tried. I got to find that clip. I'm going to write that down. I tried clip John McAfee. I think that was the last statement that I told John McAfee before, well, you know, he allegedly passed away, allegedly hung himself. I just want to be able to, you know, I've been feeling this totalitarian creep for too long. So I have to do something. I'm not just going to sit back and let it happen. Hell no. Hell no. And I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way. That's why you find the New American Media. That's why you found us here today. Hit like, hit subscribe, however you're watching, please. But here's Patrick Bet David trying to unwrap what's going on.
It's that they are all about hiring more IRS agents to audit you. Whoever's watching this, they want to audit you. They want to find that if you didn't pay $600 in taxes, they want to come and collect it from you. Whoever's watching this right now, but God forbid we audit the wasted expenditure the government has. Oh, no, no, no.
Yeah.
We are politicians. We are very good people. We are people that we know what we're doing because we got this fancy degree, but we should audit the people because the people out there are not paying their fair share. What if the government's got a lot of wasted money? What if the government's doing a lot of stuff that we don't know anything about? And by the way, they started off with the USAID. Once they get into, and that was only a $40-50 billion budget, what are they going to do when it gets into DHS? And what is it going to happen when we get into Medicare, Medicaid, money's being funneled all over the place? Accountability is on its way, and the American people are ecstatic. So why is it?
Yeah. Big Daddy Torre saying, end the Fed, end the IRS, government is a mafia. Uh-huh. Do as I say, not as I do, says Bob Knoll. Exactly. It's all happening, people. It's all happening. I feel like we're almost famous. It's all happening. Mario Nafal putting this out. Joe Lonsdale is talking about DOGE, and Elon reposted it. Let's hear what he has to say. This Joe Lonsdale.
in the Reagan administration who came in looking for these things, and those people were not technical. And so when they went to the bureaucracy and they asked questions, there's so many ways of obscuring and blocking and deterring. And so what Elon...
Yeah, and that's what Oprah... I wasn't paid $2 million directly from the Kamala Harris campaign. What are you talking about? Keyword directly. She knew exactly what she was saying. Harpo Productions was allegedly paid $2 million. And you're lying about getting it because you're, oh, no, don't pin that on me. So yeah, when Reagan went in trying to find it, it was all hidden. But you're finally running a forensic audit. Can we get DOGE to run the full forensic audit on the 2020 election when we're done? I want to pinpoint the theft, the fraud, the coup, the treason. This is a team of technical auditors that can run a full forensic audit. Oh, we need a full forensic audit of 2020. 100%.
Did is he got root access and he went to the tech systems themselves. No one has done this in ever. Like, no president ever has had tech people around him. And they went to the systems and they started finding things like, oh my goodness. And these people who work for the agencies try to confront them and say, no, you can't look at the systems. You can't. You're getting around all of our ability to block all this stuff. We thought you'd never actually get to see any of this. And they're freaking out because they're looking. And so it's very transparent. They went to the systems. They actually saw the payments, and the payments were going out to crazy shit. There were payments to people with same social security numbers. There are payments to people with no social security numbers.
How are you giving out payments to people with double social security numbers? More than double. I'm guessing there's more than... If they let it happen with someone using a same number twice, I'm sure they're using it 3 or 4 times. And with no social security numbers. So anyone that's just kind of saying, oh, no, illegal alien invaders, they don't get any of our money. Bullshit. These NGOs have found ways to harvest votes, steal money, and bribe their foot soldiers to stay compliant. Oh, 100%. And we've been called crazy for mentioning this for decades. No, they're the crazy ones, and it's finally ending.
To 100 billion. It's everywhere. There's payments to Internews Network, which is training media all around the world how to have a certain point of view that's a very left point of view. There are payments to protesters around the world. There's like all this stuff that's crazy, and they're being very transparent. Yes, we went to the data and we found it. It's only been 20 days. Like, give them a chance. They're gonna put all of this out. They already are putting a lot out. I mean, I think this is amazing, but people want to slow them down. They want to slow them down from stopping their grift is really the biggest question here. Mentors in the Reagan.
By the way, Elon responds saying the White House now has tech support. The Matrix is being reprogrammed to make success one of the possible outcomes. They did not expect this. Kobayashi Maru, K. Maru. Yeah, they did not plan on this being a potentiality. I'd like to take this moment to ask everybody out there, if you're so inclined, to maybe connect with the source for a second. Dear Lord, Heavenly Father, Grand Architect of the Universe, Supreme Being, Guiding Light, the Force of the Universe, Mother Earth, however you choose to define whatever is out there that connects us all and might be greater than us all. Please keep your watchful wings over Elon Musk, President Trump, their families, their team, as they battle the demonic forces that have been enslaving us for far too long. Keep them healthy, wealthy, and wise. Keep them protected. Keep them strong and nourished. And put out a reflexive spell, actually. Not just to protect them. Let's keep that repel spell going. So if someone wishes ill will, ill intent, may it backfire threefold upon the person doing it. The old adage, if you point a finger at somebody, you have 3 pointing back at you. Let's repel that negativity toward the people who are trying to fix this system once and for all. May it be visited upon them threefold as we keep them safe and effective as they work to help humanity reach a new golden age. In your name we pray, so mote it be. Amen. Yeah. Who would have ever thought Donald Trump would be considered the most statesman-like president? Well, let's listen to this.
Trump is the most statesman-like president in generations, and that's the subject of the riff.
Very good, low.
With the passing of each day, President Trump is proving to be the finest international statesman America has produced since Ronald Reagan, and surely harking back to the American and world leaders who defended freedom during World War II. Trump critics, hearing his America First North Star guiding principle, accuse him of being an isolationist, uninterested in other parts of the world or the complexities of foreign affairs. But Trump is proving them to be very badly wrong. In just a few weeks since his inauguration, he has negotiated border closing deals with Mexico, Canada, Colombia, Nicaragua, Venezuela, and El Salvador. He has focused laser-like on the Panama Canal and the importance of preventing China from running it. Additionally, he is moving rapidly to prevent China from infiltrating Central and South America in violation of the Monroe Doctrine. He has also cast a sharp eye on the strategic value of Greenland to prevent Russia and China from advancing into the Arctic Circle. Plus, he has directly engaged with Israel on the hostage release with the Hamas terrorists, and he has offered an outside-the-box solution to the age-old Gaza problem. Now, he has broken through the Russia-Ukraine stalemate. First, by talking directly to President Zelensky. Then, this morning, with a phone call to Vladimir Putin of Russia. In a lengthy Truth Social post, he laid out a brand new U.S. strategy to end the war. In his own words, let me quote, "I just had a lengthy and highly productive phone call with President Vladimir Putin of Russia. We discussed Ukraine, the Middle East, energy, artificial intelligence, the power of the dollar, and other various subjects." All right, end quote. Now, Joe Biden never spoke to Putin since the war began. Not once. But Trump is clearly making good on his campaign promise to end the war. And he's doing it with his usual warp speed. Now, again, in his own words, he posted, and I'm going to quote, "But first, as we both agreed, we want to stop the millions of deaths taking place in the war with Russia-Ukraine. President Putin even used my very strong campaign motto of common sense." End quote for a moment. Common sense has been a constant Trump theme for the economy, for the DOGE audit of the out-of-control federal budget, ending the left-wing culture, closing the border, cutting taxes, and foreign policy must have a strong common sense theme to it. Again, in his own words from the posting, Mr. Trump laid out the strategy and the key American players. And I quote, "We will begin by calling President Zelensky of Ukraine to inform him of the conversation, something which I will be doing right now. I have asked Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Director of the CIA John Ratcliffe, National Security Advisor Michael Waltz, and Ambassador and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff to lead the negotiations, which I feel strongly will be successful." End quote. Now,
look, yeah, of course, Biden wasn't talking to Putin. He was trying to push them into a nuclear World War III. He was trying to engage them in a global conflict. He was trying to destroy Russia. I don't fully understand I don't fully understand NATO's nonstop push to destroy Russia. Russia and the U.S. have been allies before, and they could be allies again. I don't fully understand what's behind this deep state agenda. And it's madness. It's just madness. Hundreds of thousands dead, millions maimed, millions of families that will never be the same. For what? Let's run the full forensic audit on Ukraine, by the way. Let's see what they had going on over there, shall we? All this Biden stolen money, Victoria Nuland, Obama.
This is a dramatic move by President Trump, not only to break the logjam of war, but to engage directly with the key players, Zelensky and Putin. And Mr. Trump is essentially orchestrating what will become a peace conference strategy which will lead to ceasefire principles and ultimately an end to the war. Mr. Trump is basically driving a process for all three sides, the U.S., Russia, and Ukraine, and that's going to lead to an end to the violence and the hostilities and the war. Mr. Trump's actions are a breathtaking démarche. It is the most statesmanlike effort in generations. You know, Trump should have won a Nobel Peace Prize for the Abraham Accords during his first term. What he's doing now to end the seemingly intractable Russia-Ukraine war should be his second Nobel Prize. But you know what? Actually, for him, it's promises made, promises kept. And that's the riff. Donald Trump.
There you go. Well said. Who would have thought Trump the statesman, huh? Yeah. Liberals are saying the auditors at DOGE are too young for the job, but they believe a 6-year-old should make the decision to mangle their genitals so that they can never orgasm for the rest of their life. Okay. Cool story. Red Pill Truth 2024 says President Trump doesn't take a salary for his work as president. Elon Musk sleeps on the floor and works for free so government waste can be cut and money can be saved. All the Democrats and press can do is bitch, moan, and attempt to distract Americans. Their power lies in taxation and redistribution of your money, and they can't stand to see that go away. Pick a side. Oh, Maxine said the quiet part out loud. Did you hear this? Maxine Waters. Oh, she's so busted.
Because all of our privacy is being taken up by Elon Musk and Trump, and we don't know what all they have on us. We don't know what all they have on us. Because all of our privacy is being taken up by Elon Musk and Trump, and we don't know what all they have on us. We don't know what all they have on us.
Oh, we know what we have on you. This is pretty cool. 2 more to go. I've still never seen this movie, but I know they got to find the jewels to put in here. Pam Bondi is in as the Attorney General. Elon Musk is in at DOGE. Tulsi Gabbard is in at Director of National Intelligence. Bobby Kennedy is in at not CDC, Health and Human Services, HHS. And now we just need Kash. And then there was one. Let's freaking go. This happened, and I'm concerned about all these planes going down. It seems to be something weird, and I have concerns about the technology that's installed in a lot of these aircraft. A lot of Chinese-made parts, a lot of backdoor potentialities. You've seen a lot of plane issues, and now here's a U.S. military plane crash in San Diego. That is not good. In the comment, here's a comment. When China makes all the software, there's always a back door. Yeah, China manufactured all the computer components. What did the plane know about the Clintons? Were they transporting the Epstein list? Christian saying, we've been at war for months. It's just totally asymmetric with all the cyber tech tools that the world's militaries have developed or were gifted from them elsewhere. Yeah, is someone hacking our systems? What's going on in the FAA? This one says the pilots ejected and were safely picked up by a fishing boat unharmed. If that's true, that's great. Yeah, are these remote takeovers? We asked the same about the Black Hawk crash. We got to get to the bottom of this immediately. This was wild. I don't know. Well, security guard got on camera slapping a woman. This was a rambunctious customer who refused to leave the chain restaurant on Sunday. And that's a fair question. Why is there a security guard at Taco Bell? What have we devolved to? Well, I mean, if you got a security guard at a Taco Bell, it's because you've had repeated problems, I would imagine. comment. The fact that no one reacted for her is telling. Everybody in that Taco Bell has had enough of her nonsense. Next comment, $50 says she deserved it. Good job, security. This is when the Taco Bell serves alcohol. Then other people saying that he should be charged with assault and fired. He's going to get fired and sued. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think?
Get away from me! Get away from me! Get away from me! Get away from me! Get away from me!
Anyway, there's music. I don't want it to get taken down for copyright. But anyway, what say you? She's being told to leave and she wouldn't leave. Bill Ackman here with a good point. The fact that Democrats are fighting the first real effort to root out waste, fraud, and abuse from our government is a very bad look, from which one can only draw a negative inference. You doth protest too much, methinks. This is a good commentary here. Most of us didn't start talking about politics because we wanted to. We simply wanted to be left alone, but they decided to shit on morals and tear our country apart. They activated us, and now we're here for it. That feels pretty close to how I feel. I'd rather just talk about sports and music and stuff. But, you know, got to stop the ship from sinking before I can play another song on the deck of the Titanic.
So a lot of people...
This is Nick Freitas.
Concerned that Elon Musk is nothing more than an unelected dictator. And I got to say, the evidence bears out. I mean, after all, did you see that time where he came out and said that nobody should wear masks and then everybody should wear masks? And then if you don't wear masks, you should lose your job and that you should get an experimental vaccine. And that if you ask any questions about the origin of a particular unnamed virus, then you were all of a sudden a bad guy and a conspiracy theorist and should probably be deplatformed. And you remember the time where he advocated widespread lockdowns of the economy, not to mention shutting down all of your kids' schools, and insisted that grandma had to die alone, isolated from all of her loved ones in order to fulfill his mandates. Oh, that wasn't Elon Musk? That was somebody else? Oh, okay. And the same politicians that are concerned about Elon Musk had no problems with the other guy? Oh. It's almost like they're full of it. So
almost. Sort of kind of feels that way, huh? It almost feels that way. You want to know where these protests come from? These AstroTurf protests, these fake AF protests?
Elon. They're literally standing out there with signs that say arrest Elon Musk.
Listen, I guarantee it's organized. I guarantee it's organized by the same people that are going to lose a shitload of money based on all these discoveries at DOGE. There's no way they're not. If you look at what DOGE is uncovering.
By the way, a comment here. If you stayed silent while federal work... Why is this on my screen? If you stayed silent when Biden fired federal workers over a vaccine, we don't want to hear your outrage over Trump firing deadweight federal bureaucrats and employees. Oh, Chris Ramsey makes a Kenneth joke. Who let the Doge out? Trump. Sorry, I got that in your head.
What they're uncovering with this USAID stuff, a lot of that stuff was organizing through NGOs protests. They organized the attempt at getting Trump impeached.
I thought you were going to say killed.
They organized the impeachment.
That's come out.
They also USAID spent $50 million on the lab that invented coronavirus.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of money involved in this not working.
And they fund all of these protests to terrorize and scare people into silence and compliance.
And when you have a lot of money involved, you're going to have organized protest. When you see protests, we all want to think protests like the 1960s. Yeah, fight the war, man. It's like organic, like peace, love, and hippie shit. But that's not what this is. What this is organized, funded protests where someone is spending a lot of money and they're mobilizing other NGOs. They're using their access to these mailing lists and all these different things. They're putting these things together.
Yeah, but do you think that the average...
Wait, why is that a yeah, but? Comment here. Chopped and Chop says, I mean, why is knowing where your tax dollars go a bad thing? Sully saying this is like the Communist Playbook 101.
Liberal person.
And if you ask most people protesting, 90% of them can't give a substantive answer and just repeat some talking point as if it were a fact.
Do you think that they're going to wake up and come around, or do you think that they're going to be in like agony for 4 years and be?
What if it works? Like, what if the world gets safer, the country gets safer, the economy improves, and they don't attack civil rights, women's rights, gay rights, all these things that everybody's worried about, and then at the end of it, you realize like, hey, maybe I was wrong.
I mean, that's my question though. Are they capable of that kind of self-reflection?
What we're saying they is if it's like one different, like one kind of person.
No, I mean,
there's so many different people in they.
Testing Elon. They're literally standing out there with signs that say arrest Elon Musk.
Listen, I guarantee it's organized. I guarantee it's organized.
So it repeated again. Yeah, my one thing for Instagram, please just show us a ticker, and when a clip stops, just stop it. I don't like repeating even a second of something for another time. The right-winged Angel here saying the DOGE is showing us why President Trump has 2 impeachments, 4 indictments, and 2 assassination attempts. Democrats will do anything to keep their corruption concealed. Yeah, here's just a pretty straightforward post as well. Only a couple more here. The richest man in the world and the most powerful man in the world, working for free to get rid of the corruption in Washington, D.C. Bravo. Played this yesterday, but it's a super short clip and it's super important. Rep. Ayanna Pressley says she's willing to work with anyone to what?
Look, let me tell you something. I'll take a bit of umbrage here. I'll speak on behalf of my colleagues. I think I can say we are all willing to work with anyone who's serious about doing the work of censoring the American people and advancing progress.
Did you hear how quiet it was there? No claps, no applause. Like, what did you just say?
They are not serious. Look, let me tell you something. I'll take a bit of umbrage here. I'll speak on behalf of my colleagues. I think I can say we are all willing to work with anyone who's serious about doing the work of censoring the American people and advancing progress. But they are not serious.
Yeah, no. That person should be removed because she's violating her oath of office. We have a First Amendment.
Tulsi Gabbard.
Mango Martin here. This is when she was officially sworn in as the director of DNI by Attorney General Pam Bondi. So nice.
You solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
And that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
And that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I take this obligation freely.
I take this obligation freely. I, Tulsi Gabbard.
All right, anyway, that's just a moment from when it happened. That's cool to see. Well, yeah, here's another 6-second clip that's worth repeating one more time. It's in the timeline more than once, so I'll play it more than once. Ah, why'd it go silent? There we go.
And Trump, and we don't know what all they have on us. We don't know what all they have on us.
Oh, we do know. You're corrupt AF. Apparently this just happened. This is not great, unless it's inevitable, and in which case, here we are. Fatal fail. Hamas decided to break the ceasefire again and launched a rocket aimed at Israel moments ago. The rocket failed and landed in the Nusayrat area in the Gaza Strip center, killing a 14-year-old Gazan.
ايوه وصل الارض الله يستر ما يكون خبط في حدا يا رب ما يكون خبط في حدا.
Like any story out there, who knows what the footage is? This is just what's being reported. Take it with a grain of salt and do your own investigation as you will. Speaking of you doing your own investigation, did USAID fund the Chinese Wuhan lab for putting out illegal, banned, gain-of-function research? And did they unleash the COVID bioweapon on us intentionally?
Ms. Powers, did USAID
Samantha Powers, one of the worst.
fund coronavirus research in Wuhan, China?
We did not fund gain-of-function research,
That's not the
as
question.
you know.
The question is, did you fund coronavirus research in Wuhan, China?
Before my time, there was the PREDICT program with which you're familiar, which ended in China in 2019.
Yeah, this is a $200 million program, and the GAO has also identified that some of these grants went directly to the Wuhan Institute of Virology, where there is a suspicion that the lab leak began the pandemic. Has USAID awarded funds to the Academy of Military Medical Sciences in China?
Not to my knowledge, but I'd have to get
I think the answer is once again yes. GAO has found that there have been subawards of NIH money as well as USAID money that went to the Academy of not just medical research, military medical research in China.
Bless you, Rand Paul, by the way. You're fighting for justice of my brother who's been in the ground for 3 years. I'm not stopping. You're not stopping. We're not letting him forget this. We're not letting him they're not going to coast away without repercussions. You will face justice. We will never stop. If I have a breath in my lungs, I'm going to fight for my brother who had his stolen.
Now, part of the unknowns here is we can't get the records to look at this. So I've been.
And very interestingly, yeah, here's a good comment on the side. She wasn't on Biden's list of pardons. Huh. Watch out, Miss Powers.
Been asking for months and months for records. In September of last year, I wrote Ms. Powers, USAID, a request asking for records from the PREDICT program.
And by the way, she went from $3 to $6 million to $30 million in net worth. Where'd all this money come from? Lots of questions.
These are not classified. These are simply records of scientific research, and we want to read the grants to find out what they were doing and whether the research was dangerous or not. The response I got from your agency was USAID will not be providing any documents at this time. They're just unwilling to give documents on scientific grant proposal. We're paying for it. They're asking for $745 million more in money, and we get no response. So 2 weeks ago, the ranking member, Risch, myself, and 25 other Republican senators, unfortunately, so far, signed a letter once again. It's still no response. We're not asking for classified information. We're not asking for anything unusual. 20 million people died around the world. You're supposed to be an agency that cares about the death of people around the world. We, talk about starvation and famine, and 20 million people died from a virus, and you won't give us the basic information about what grants you're funding around the world and who you're funding. Should we be funding the Academy of Military Medical Research in China? They're now off limits. But did we fund them? And who was making the decision? You know who ran the PREDICT program? UC Davis. Have you had any conversations with UC Davis about research in China and whether it was advisable?
So again, to set the record straight, first of all, the PREDICT program ended in 2019. We have people.
And yet it goes on in other forums and other names.
That's certainly not USAID program.
Well, you have a program called Emergency Pandemic Threats Program still, don't you?
We have provided hundreds and hundreds of pages of documents related to the PREDICT program for the very reason that you say, because we are in.
Not to us.
We are, again, as I know you had an exchange with Secretary Blinken as well, consistent with longstanding practice.
Not going to give them to us.
Responsive to the committees of jurisdiction.
Not going to. You've been consistent in not giving us any information.
That's not true.
But what you're saying
we've provided
is
hundreds of pages in response to the Karen ranking. To the Senate, Homeland Security, and Government Affairs Committee, for example. We've had extensive.
We've been requesting this and gotten none of it. I'm on that committee as well. The thing is what we get from you and from the State Department at large is that if Senator Menendez signs it, you'll give it documents. Until then, you'll give us nothing. And we have gotten nothing, zero. You said will not be providing any documents. I now have 25 senators have sent you a letter, and you aren't responding.
Well,
and we want to see the scientific grants. We give you the money, the taxpayers give you the money. We deserve to know where the money went, whether it happened. Look, you're right. It ended in 2019. When did the virus come about? In about 2019. Some of the research proposals that came about in 2018 were Wuhan Institute of Virology asking for money to create a virus with a furin cleavage site in it, a coronavirus, a SARS-like virus with a furin cleavage site. That's exactly what COVID turned out to be. They wanted money to create such a virus. So we want to know, are there other research proposals that you either granted or denied that were on the same veins of creating viruses that could have become COVID-19?
Again, consistent with longstanding practice, we are providing extensive documentation. We have a whole
That's
team of
just
people who
not
do
true.
nothing other
That's
than look
just
back
not
and
true.
predict.
That is not
It
true.
is factually accurate.
That is
It
not
is. The
true.
fact that-
Everything we have asked, we have not gotten. I have not seen one document on the PREDICT program.
I understand that, again, consistent with common practice
Consistent
across
that you're not going to give
administration.
it to any senator.
No, we're providing all of the kinds of documentation that you're
You are
describing.
not. You're
we
being
are.
dishonest.
We-
You're being
No, I'm
dishonest.
not. I'm
We haven't
absolutely
gotten
not.
one scrap of paper from you. Not one
again,
scrap of
with
paper.
the committees of jurisdiction, we are providing all of the paperwork that
You are not.
requested by the
I'm on
chair
the
and
other
ranking.
committee. I'm the ranking member on the other committee, and I haven't seen a scrap of paper from that committee either.
Well, that is.
See, here's what the American
tell you
people.
what has
the
happened.
American
Actually,
people,
I can't tell you what
the
happens
American
at the committee.
people think this: that because you won't respond, and because you respond with a non-response, that you have something to hide. I want to see every grant proposal that had to do with coronaviruses that went to China from the U.S. government, from all facets of the U.S. government, and every bit of the Biden administration is stonewalling us and will not give us the information.
Let's go get that information. Ricky Lynn saying so far about, God bless you, Rand Paul. Thank you. Rand Paul, Ron Paul, let's keep going. Rand, take out Fauci. Ron, take out the Fed. Ricky Lynn saying so far only about 1% of the government has been audited, with findings of about $100 billion in waste and fraudulent spending already. This is why they didn't want Trump to win. It also makes sense why $200,000 salaries have a net worth of over $200 million. Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, the U.S. government is a pyramid money laundering scheme, and they're all in on it. Sean says this. Did I just hear the White House press briefing question correctly? $2.7 trillion in improper Medicare, Medicaid payments to people overseas who weren't entitled to the benefit? This cannot be real. The entire national debt is $36 trillion, and you're telling me that you sent checks for almost $3 trillion to people overseas? This is from Sean on the right. I'm telling you right now, by the time we're done with these audits, we will find at least $36 trillion worth of waste, fraud, and abuse. The entire national debt is waste, fraud, and abuse.
We might.
Yeah, they're back at it again. Sends out the bat signal. Remember that Austin Powers meme? Release the constitutional crisis. Well, here you go. You don't hate the media enough. MRC Newsbusters is showing you. Just like they did throughout his first term, they just keep the same old bag of tricks. Same old bag of tricks.
Might be on the path to a constitutional crisis.
We will ask
this from 2017.
two experts about whether or not this is a constitutional crisis.
We've never faced quite the constitutional crisis that we do right now.
They are fomenting a constitutional crisis.
Yes. Are we staring down the barrel of a constitutional crisis? This is an existential constitutional crisis.
Now they're saying this in 2018.
A constitutional crisis, possibly.
The constitutional crisis alarm bells are ringing. But is anybody listening?
Dun, 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 dun. Ooh, I'm MSNBC. I'm a mouthpiece sock puppet cut out for the deep state, for the people who hate you, who want to rob you blind and end you.
We're now like one subway.
Now we're into 2019. Here's Van Jones.
Stop from a real constitutional crisis.
We are in effect, a constitutional crisis.
Yeah, what the Democrats did was the unconstitutional thing.
Constitutional crisis. We're hearing it over and over again.
Nancy Pelosi's already said that Donald Trump is unfit for office. She said that he belongs in prison.
Oh, well, Pelosi said it.
She says that we're in a constitutional crisis. If that's not enough to begin an impeachment inquiry, then what on earth is?
Reality. Reality would be a good starting point. President Trump exposes the Ukrainian corruption that led to almost a nuclear World War III. And what did the Dems do in response to exposing that corruption from Obama, Newland, Biden, Burisma? They impeached Trump. What?
Warnings of an impending
Now we're into 2020.
constitutional crisis ripped through the nation's capital.
There are experts who are saying this is a
Now there's a fun looking guy. Look at those glasses. Wow. That's a Where's Waldian type dude.
constitutional crisis.
We are at a dangerous time in our history, a constitutional crisis.
that probably is the most severe moment since the Civil War.
New warnings of a constant.
Oh, here we go. Now we're back to 2025. Oh, look, back to MSNBC. They're the worst.
Constitutional crisis just weeks into Trump's second term.
The stage is set for a constitutional crisis.
Could this signal the start of a constitutional crisis?
Could it?
Legal experts say our country could be headed toward a constitutional crisis.
Oh, could we?
Calling this a constitutional crisis.
Oh, are you calling it that?
This is a constitutional crisis.
I am unapologetic in suggesting we are in a constitutional crisis right now.
Are we already in a constitutional crisis?
Word salad.
Those two words, right? Constitutional.
Yes, those two words, right? Constitutional crisis. I was told by the person who cuts my check to say the term constitutional crisis.
Crisis.
We might be on the path to a constitutional.
Oh, these people. These people are the worst. Here you go. Here's the moment it happened. RFK Jr. being confirmed as president. Trump's Health and Human Services Secretary. Big day. I'm sorry, bad day for Big Pharma. Big day for us.
On this vote, the yeas are 52. The nays are 48. The confirmation is confirmed. Just number 4?
Oh.
Yeah. On this vote, the
I'll see that a second time.
yeas are 52. The nays are 48. The confirmation is confirmed. Just number 4? Yeah.
Great day for America. Yeah, this person, I'm a nurse and I've worked in the clinical research industry for a long time, and I've been waiting for this day. Let's go. Yeah, here's remember to think of your Democrat friends in this harrowing time. Being Libertarian says, it must be hard being a Democrat right now. You have to hate good health, defend corruption, and attack those uncovering it. Support war. What am I missing? Yeah, what are you missing? I don't know. I think it's fantastic. Super excited that we are here. Yes, Kenneth, they did say cleavage site. Yeah, that was part of the Wuhan coronavirus with the cleavage site. Let me just buzz through, see if there's anything important that I missed that didn't hit that rundown. Yeah, Kamala Harris leading in the polls for California. You got to be kidding me. For 2026, garnering 57% support on the Democrat side. It's got to be a joke. Why not elect literally anybody else? What is this one? The House has passed a bill. Agent Raul Gonzalez Officer Safety Act. Speaker Mike Johnson says, through this legislation, House GOP sent a clear message. If you cross our border illegally and then jeopardize the safety of our officers, you will face severe criminal and immigration penalties. We'll continue to work with POTUS to secure our borders and protect the American people. Representative Jim Jordan says, under the Biden-Harris administration, human smuggling became even more lucrative than ever before. And by the way, when you smuggle a human, that person owes the mob a debt. So you have a sleeper cell army of people that owe favors. You're going to do as you're told to. God knows what you might be asked to participate in. It's not just that a human moved from point A to point B. It's that you're indebted. You're an indentured servant to really bad people who might ask you to do really bad things. So as Representative Jim Jordan was saying, under the Biden-Harris administration, human smuggling became more lucrative than ever before, resulting in increased numbers of high-speed chases and endangered innocent Americans in border communities. We applaud Representative Ciscomani's leadership in passing the Agent Raul Gonzalez Officer Safety Act, which will make America safer by disincentivizing individuals, including smugglers and illegal aliens, from evading Border Patrol agents during high-speed chases. Yeah, the penalties should be massive for this stuff. Massive. And this was being reported as well. Zelensky did not sign the financial agreement on rare earth minerals that the U.S. Treasury Secretary Basant has offered him. I would say that's bad news. Bad news for Zelensky. Bad news for Ukraine. Bad news for the peace efforts. How about you're going to accept whatever we tell you to accept? After stealing how many billions from us? Fighting an unnecessary war? Pushing your UN ambitions and putting all those weapons so close to Russia and being warned over and over and over and over again? After you overthrew your country in a coup? Sponsored by Victoria Nuland and Barack Hussein Obama and Joe Biden? Yeah, you have a laundry list of problems that you've created. You made a bed, now you get to sleep in it. After all the money that's been stolen from America, you're damn right we're getting those resources. You're damn right. We did this for you, now do that for us. And that's where we have us. That's where we have things today. Kamala running for governor. She should run for pole dancer. Yeah, maybe back when she was dating Montel Williams. Not so much now, please. Nope. I'm good. Thanks. I'm good. All right. But I'm good for today's program. That is all of the information that I have. I do plan on doing Strictly Football today at 5 p.m. Eastern. Does he have Zelle, N.C? Yeah, send it direct. I don't have a Zelle account. Maybe I should start a Zelle account for donations. Thank you for the reminder, though. The New American Media is completely 100% crowd-funded. And yes, we do run in the red because our expenditures are more than we take in at the current moment. However, I think we bring something unique to the table. I think we have great perspectives. We have a nose for the news. And we have ability to have really great interviews. If you go back through our 1,700 videos, 1,600? 1,700 videos over 14 years. You'll see some of the best ones. I'll try to cross-post some of those from YouTube onto Rumble. I'd love a button to just grab all of our Rumble stuff and port it over, ideally. But yes, Zelle we don't have, but there are ways you can contribute to the New American Media. We're on patreon.com/the New American Media. You can sign up to be a $5 monthly sponsor, $15 a month, $100 a month, $1,000 a month, whatever you choose to assist us with. It all helps the overhead. Like I said yesterday, I had to sign up for a 12-month Restream account here so that we can continue delivering the show at the time that we want to do it. Gives us massive freedom, but it's $5,000. Been really trying to stop spending the money that we've spent last year with the expenses traveling to do our documentary, Hurricane Helene, Help on the Way. Check that out on Rumble and YouTube. Went to Western North Carolina. We also went to all three major political conventions, the DNC in Chicago, the RNC in Milwaukee, and the Libertarian Convention in DC. Those expenses add up, and we had to upgrade our cameras and our equipment and got an extra camera, like an extra set of GoPro stuff and, websites and this and that. It all adds up quick, so your assistance, it definitely is always appreciated. Special thanks to our new Patreon subscribers and to everybody who has donated to us over the years. We are on PayPal at Fuzz Installment. We are on Venmo at Brian Engelman. We are on Cash App at $ Brian Engelman. And those are the places to hit us up if you are so inclined. The places you can follow us, The New American Media, Facebook, Instagram. Get us over there on Meta. We're on Truth Social, Rumble, YouTube, The New American Media. Our podcast is on, what are we on? Apple, what is it? iTunes, what is it? Apple Podcasts and Spotify. The Agree to Disagree Show. The Agree to Disagree Show. Subscribe there. X is another good platform. We do hope to actually launch a subscription model there where people can donate monthly. Haven't set it up yet, but that will be at American_media_. So those are the places to find us. And yes, we'll try to be back at 5 o'clock today in a couple hours doing Strictly Football, kind of with our year in review show. Mike Barra, Jim Mitchell. Got a few things we're going to have to set up. So bear with us if we don't start exactly at 5 o'clock, but yeah, we'll be doing that show today and then continue to give you more content as we move forward. Now we have no restrictions on the studio space. We can broadcast any time of day. We can do marathon 24-hour broadcast sessions. I actually do kind of have a weird goal to do that. I think it'll be fun or crazy fun. Anyway, more things coming up from the New American Media. So thank you for joining. Special thanks to everybody in the chat room, Mike Moran, Kenneth, Alan, everybody else who was watching and lurking in the background and watching after the fact. Like I said, please hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, share our show to people. Like, grab a link, just do the share button, copy and paste it, shoot it to a couple of your smart friends and go, hey, could you give my buddies show a follow? They're trying to boost their numbers, whatever platform they're on. We're trying to add to the numbers. We're trying to add to the algorithm, add to the hours watched. We're actually getting pretty darn close to remonetizing our YouTube channel. Hence part of the reason why we're doing the daily shows now. We are monetized on Rumble, but you know, I think we have something to offer the space. I think our opinions and our instant commentary, and look, this is a conversation. It's not just where you tune in and hear me blurt at you all day. If you haven't noticed, I'm reading the comments. Hell, I leave the comments up for you guys to see. It's a two-way street. It's a game of tennis. We're communicating in real time. If you have stories you think that I should cover that I haven't got to, toss them in the comments. If you have jokes to make, toss them in the comments. If you have additional insight to add, yeah, but remember this thing, don't forget about this, like add those in the comments. It helps a really robust show. I really do miss MJ. Yeah, she was awesome. Her comments were great too, but all your comments are great. It all adds to the rich tapestry of our program. So anyway, I'm going to pause for now. I'll be back later. I appreciate you. I love you. And we'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Peace.